How about a ride, mister?
Jennifer. Oh man, you a sight for sore eyes. I mean, look at you.
Marty, you're acting like you haven't seen me in a week.
I haven't.
Are you okay? Is everything all right?
Oh yeah. Everything's great.
Marty! You've got to come back with me.
Where?
Back to the future.
Wait a minute, what are you doing, Doc?
I need fuel. Go ahead, quick! Get in the car!
No, look, I just got here, okay? Jennifer's here. We're gonna take the new truck for a spin.
Well, bring her along. This concerns her, too.
Wait a minute, Doc. What are you talking about? What happens to us in the future? What, do we become assholes or something?
Oh, no. You and Jennifer both turn out fine. It's your kids, Marty. Something's got to be done about your kids.
Hey, Doc, you better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we'll need roads.
Hey, Marty! Marty, I wanted to show you these new matchbooks for my album detailing. I had to print it up.
Like the boring?
What the hell is going on here?
Indeed, Biff. What in the hell is going on here? What's going on, guys? Thank you for joining my DB Cooper research session. It's not going to be massively entertaining here. It's just going to be me going over kind of the updates that we've found along the way recently on the DB Cooper research that a lot of people have done. That green suit does look like it's from the Squid Games. That's funny, it does. Another thing Back to the Future predicted right. They didn't get hoverboards right, though, did they? Or the flying cars. But for me personally, the DB Cooper solve, if you want to call it that, is related to the Back to the Future solve that I share with one or two other people. But it's going to be research session day today, so I'm going to be kind of all over the place. What I've been doing, ladies and germs, is, and let me see if I can make this bigger. Oh, God, no, too big. There we go. FBI files on DB Cooper. So there's 64 parts. 64 packets, if you will. Make my bet. Look, this is good enough, all right? And each packet contains, gosh, I mean, what is this one? Let's see. 416 pages in this one. You know, what's this one? There's the whole PDF. I got it down. Ugh. What about this one? 434 pages. I mean, we're getting into some of the most complex. I mean, they were looking at white males at 140 pounds, blue eyes. This isn't just they were looking for a brown-haired, olive-toned man. Nah. So, it's been interesting. I mean, I guess the overall theme for today, guys, is the book Hahaha. Allegedly copyright 1983. I gotta do this way. I hate figuring this out. There we go. Editor Judy Van Cleve. Art assistance and sketches by Greg Ellingson, whom, by the way, I found on LinkedIn and didn't even start his artwork freelancing career until 1985. He's about Doug Preston's age. But this book smells new. Like it was printed in the last 20 years, not the last 40 years. Maybe I'm wrong. You can't really smell it, I know. But it's weird. They probably registered for the copyright. Well, sure. They could certainly have registered for the copyright. But we'd have to look into that. I don't know how to look into registration on the copyrights. But again, does that mean it was published or actually printed? I want to know when this book was put on bookshelves. Everybody who's looked into this, gets the same results on Google search, which is, and let me show you. If I type in ha, oh no, don't tell me my typing is like screwed up now. Ha. Ah! Why does something always not work? Ha. DB Cooper. Now, what we can do here with tools, okay, let me do this. If I make myself, no. Make myself smaller. There we go. All right, so if I make this a little bit bigger. You can get into tools here, right? And you can do like a custom range. So for me, I'm going to do 01, 2000. Okay? And then we'll do it to today. Or, 01, 2020. Here's what you're going to find. November 11th. Or November of 2011. That's what you're going to find. The earliest date you can get is November 2011. May 2011. Ooh. November 2006. But it's missing. Ha. Because it doesn't have it in there. Because for whatever reason, the FBI files don't have ha as any piece of evidence or lead. And this is what gets me miffed. And we'll get into this, and I'll show you guys the files. They go over everything. They go over little Sally Bebop, who saw a cat up in a tree, and that cat saw someone who looked like a sketch of DB Cooper, and the FBI opened a file about it, because that's what they're supposed to do. Every little thing that gets sent to them as a lead. Nowhere in these files of the FBI, and granted, I'm only 10 to 20% done going through these, nowhere in these files is the book Ha by DB Cooper. It's as if this book didn't actually exist in the 80s, when it's purportedly said to exist in. So we get to this 2011 date, and we notice it's all going to this one person. I'll make this bigger. Matt Love. Pacific Northwest author Matt Love recently created a new ripple in the seemingly endless cache of fascinating Cooper trivia. Love has unearthed a rare book. Now, between its 2011 date and 1983, when supposedly this thing was put on bookshelves, there's no record of this book. So I reached out to Matt Love. And I sent him an email asking him if he would, answer a few questions for me on kind of like, what happened here? When did you get it? Oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. So he wrote me back. And I'm not going to share it because I never told him he's not Jack Stoof. He's not a public figure here. I'm not going to share those emails unless he ever says so. But I can tell you what's in those emails. And he said that he had purchased the book from a random rare bookstore in Washington. And that book was bought sometime between 2004 and 2008. Huh? Okay, so we have the earliest now date, according to this email. The book, at least was purchased off a bookshelf between 04 and 08. K-Pro has found the copyright info. That's good. That's good. What you got? Other than that, we don't have anybody saying they've picked up this book in the 90s or the 80s. I got nothing. Alan's got nothing. There's a mystery to the mystery, as it were. 1978 is copyright info. And Alan was mentioning that there's a 78 date and an 83 date. And again, the FBI has, I'm only 20% in, but again, I went random on these search criterias. The FBI doesn't have a file on Hahaha. Why not? Because it didn't exist at that time when they were doing these investigations in the 70s and 80s? Sent to me. All right, thank you. Canada only results. Oh. How do I... Okay, hold on. Huh. Okay. How do I do it for Canada? Do I have to like google.ca and then do it? Google.ca. I guess that's Canada. Okay. Hahaha. DB Cooper. And then we'll go to Tools. Custom range. 01. 01. 1995. 01. 01. 2020. Now this is Canada. Google CA, so it's not. I didn't even have to do the more. I'm just on Canada Google, and 2011, 2016, 2011, 2011, same 2006 FBI file. 2011, 2011. DB Cooper is a pseudonym only. Yes, a pseudonym only. Yeah, Dan Cooper is the name that was actually put down on the ticket. DB Cooper, DB has kind of taken a life of its own. Ooh, here's something interesting. 2007. Cold Cooper case gets resurrected. Deseret News. How? Wait. This says Hahaha in it. Everyone laughs at me. You solved the DB Cooper case yet? Ha ha ha. But what if I do? No one ever considers that possibility. That's fucking weird. There's nothing more when you break it down than your basic bank robbery, except it was at 10,000 feet. He walks in, he makes a demand, he gets the money, and he leaves. Look at this still. DB Cooper was probably a chain-smoking ex-paratrooper. Again, in Hahaha, he says, I smoked those cigarettes to make him think I was a smoker and a chain smoker. It's just hilarious how people fall for it. A deathbed. There's no Hahaha book. It was just the phrase Hahaha that popped this into Google. But there's no talk of a book here. You know what we need for background music? That's what we need, background music. Do low. I mean, this quote, in no way was he prepared for the violence when he hit the air. I think what happened was he jumped, panicked, and once panic set in, well, he never opened the main chute, and the mere fact that he went ahead with the jump with the equipment he had and the information he had says he was in no way prepared for it because no expert, no one with knowledge would have done it that way. Well, he didn't do it that way, you moron! What does he call it in the book? The flaky bunch of idiots. FBI. But again, this doesn't say ha ha. It just has the phrase ha 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 in it. So we're back to the same thing. Nothing before 2011 talks about this book. I'll agree with that. At the worst, this is more fun than wallowing in the ending of the chase. F yeah. Let's see what else here. Mike N. I'm actually kind of intrigued by that idea. I've heard that idea before. Ooh, here we go. Hold on. It's in the response. Talking about the book. In a comment, but what's that in response to? Wait, whoa, 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 look at this. Look at this. Can you guys see this? What in the what? Oh, it's from 2011. Okay, I was about to say. This person was like, DB Cooper was Dan Cooper. He lived and died in Texas. But it's 2011. And it's a comment. Who gives a shit? But this person's talking about ha ha ha. Yeah, sorry guys. I know this one's really small. It doesn't mention the book. That's all I know. And see, this is the issue with this book. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist. As of before 2004, I guess, the time frame in which the person who wrote the article that put it back on the spotlight, this guy wrote the article. He has a website, guys. Do you see what's on the cover of this man's website? The person who put ha 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 back into circulation? He didn't write this book. This is Peter Adams Young. He's covering it, though. This is about missions flown on the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Laos. This looks like page 99, but mirrored the other way, from the other angle. Does it not? I mean, again, I'm not trying to just say this is 100%, but my goodness. The guy who introduces DB Cooper to the world says on the email to me he doesn't know who Forrest Fenn is, and we got a cover of a book here that, I'm sorry, you're not going to tell me that's not the opposite of page 99 right there. Is it not just from the other angle? Complete with bombs? Go to page 99, folks. Look at the river. Come on. Let's find out who the 100 Stingers cover. To read the full summary of the novel, click here to read. my Amazon. We shut my Amazon down because we're switching to Ashley's Amazon now. It's like your payment, your Prime benefit. You know, that's because I stopped paying, assholes. The Secret War. I don't know that it gave us Illustrator. I'm going to try to find out where the art came from, MS. Ah, Scheiße. The book is about Laos, yes. Oh shit! I gotta go on Ashley's profile to do this? God blessed. This is what I get for changing Amazon things. What the fuck? This is what I get for fucking changing it up. Can someone else do it? I don't feel like signing into Ashley's. I don't know her password. I don't want to text her. We were like, why do we have two Amazons? It was silly. Manage my titles. Oh, hold up. Oh, we got it. Okay, finally. Jeepers creepers. They're not going to show me the damn Illustrator in the Kindle version? Are you serious? It's 816 pages on this thing? My God. Ah, here we go. Greg Ellingson is the illustrator of Haha. I know, Wishbone. I said that. I already said I found him on LinkedIn earlier. But yeah, and again, he didn't, and I said he didn't start his, at least on LinkedIn, it says he started doing freelance art in 1985, not 83. But again, that's, yeah. So the guy who did the art is Jim Horsley. 200 combat missions in Vietnam. Since becoming a full-time artist, Jim has developed a growing following through commissioned paintings and sales to collectors throughout the western states. Gee, I know a collector. JimHorsley.net. Horsley, Horsley. No, Forrest did not miss Thanksgiving, DS. Forrest was home in time for Thanksgiving. And I bet you he had a wonderful Thanksgiving on that day. Night Strike 1972. Well, I don't know if there's anything there. It's just interesting choice and selection, right? Well, this is when you go back to what we originally were going to do. FBI file scanning time, baby. Yeah. One crazy thing to me is that out of all the genius researchers and problem solvers in this community, no one has ever disproved this theory. I'm waiting for that moment to break my heart. Me too, man. I've been trying to disprove it every time I get back on and research. Hey, Copperdan. Back to research. Now, okay, hold on now. This is random. I'm not going to just click a random. I got to go back to where I was. Do any more randoms. So this is back to the same interview. He said it's you guys can't read that, can you? I just like it. He said all on vector 23, and then you see 23 here and then 42 here, but you probably can't see that. Oh, these are all just the serial numbers. Holy shnikes. DB Cooper in Cambridge. It's better to download these PDFs when the pages are landscaped that viewers. Yeah, you're right. Good call. Good call. Good call. All right, so this has 25. Let's do a big one, right? Let's do a big one. We'll download that. What was that? 10,000 kilobytes. What was this? It's a little bit bigger. This looks good. I mean, some of this is even hard to read for me, guys, just so you know. Wayfair says, heck, no one has given me a logical explanation on how FF, after gifting his foundry away, could move to SF, open a gallery, and buy out another all on a small pension. Hey, Wayfair, did you know in Hahaha, I was reading it the other day? I took a picture of it, actually. I took a picture of it because it just popped in my head. I was just like, come on, really? Edit, hold on, I gotta like flip it. There we go. Done. Okay. So I couldn't resist. All I know, Coppolino, is that it is a fact they aren't hiring geniuses to work on the police force for 10 to 12,000 a year. What did Forrest Fenn make? No, he did not open an art foundry, buy someone else out, and make $1.7 million in a year from working for his garage. Absolutely not. He didn't have a collection and connections. Ralph Lauren isn't visiting him while he's working out of his garage. Ralph Lauren comes after he opens his brand new $1 million art foundry and buys out his... Come on. Never underestimate Forrest Fenn. Hoof, he's the guy who said he's only giving you 85% of the story. Of the truth in his treasure hunting book. He's the guy who says there's a secret story in his treasure chest. Not me. Hahaha is the one who says I got lost in the thrill of the chase. Hahaha is the one that tells me DB Cooper only drank Coors Light or Coors beers, which is what I've been told by people who knew Forrest. So what do you mean, what's the NDA about? What are you talking about, dude? I'm talking about fucking DB Cooper right now. And all I'm looking for at this point is to see any files on they have on Hahaha. And they just don't. What is this, allegedly? New York Times was advised that the handwritten letter was received over the weekend of September 23, 1972. He stated that the letter was passed from department to department for about 2 weeks and was handled by a number of clerks and editors before he received it approximately 10 days ago. He declined to estimate the number of people who handled the letter, adding that it would be impossible to determine the number of identities of those people. Continued that no present plans for publication of the letter. He advised that a photocopy of the letter was forwarded San Diego, California. He related to his knowledge, no one else has made any attempt to determine the letter's accuracy or authenticity. So is this purportedly like a letter from DB Cooper? Be cool to people who can bust you? 5-leaf, fuck off, dude. How about that? You don't bother me. We just skip past this letter? We're not going to talk about this letter anymore? We're back to enclosed for Seattle's one photo of blank, one copy of FBI identification record for blank, blah, blah, blah. Information concerning a skyjacker residing in blank. Well, thank you for the story, William. Appreciate it. My dad was retired Air Force, and I can tell you as a tech sergeant, we lived poor. Military paid like crap. My daughter in the Marines got paid a lot with living expenses. Guys, it's 1971. He's getting, what, $250 a week before taxes? And he's got a family of 4? The guy said he couldn't afford a Dr. Pepper and to take his kids to the movies. But all overnight, he did it all from his garage. Come on. He wants you to even say, come on. So do they photocopy this letter or not, man? Oh my god, if they don't have this fucking letter in here, I'm gonna kill. This is awful. How much do I get per episode? What are you talking about? For like, how many times do I have to tell you people? I play clips and music that ruins the monetization. I have super chat off. If you can't understand the English language, just leave. I'm sick of it. Yeah, I saw that. I looked into the Bill LeMay stuff. I hate to use the word debunked, but it's debunked. I love that. I won't fly commercial anymore. You know what? You know how Fenn described indulgence? Do you know? Well, let me start with this. DB Cooper brought a fake bomb with no fuse onto the airplane to trick the stewardess and all the people in the FBI. What did Fenn describe his chest as? My chest is a bomb without a fuse. Another elimination of a suspect. Brian, yeah, I heard of the. Were you talking about Valerie Plane earlier? I think you're leaving, but fuck, I miss so much of the chat, guys. I'm sorry. Like when I'm doing research, I'm gonna miss lots of the chat. Five Leaf, watch me all you fucking want to, man. Looking into some guy 6'1", 175, blonde hair, blue eyes. Did he say he had a terminal disease and he'd be dead? I knew there was a letter, and I think they realized that he used clippings from Playboy to send that taunting letter, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though. Hey K-Pro, can we look into, or anybody, can we look into Signum Books Limited and see when, is there a record of that business whatsoever? When did it go out of business? When did it start? Oh, and the 100% clippings from the Playboy confirmed. Okay, yeah. I'd really like to know more about Signum Books Limited and see what we can find on that. That might get us closer than we think. The biggest tubers on DB Cooper is Trust Tarzan. I didn't even know there's tubers for DB Cooper. Every time I type in DB Cooper into YouTube, it just gives me the same, kind of general 20-minute docs that we've all kind of seen throughout the years. What was I getting on my phone for? I forgot. Shit. Oh, by the way, guys, I saw some people, we are going to do an Oak Island show today. We're going to do it later in the day. So for the record, Sling, there's a TV service called Sling. I think it was on our Sling. It might have been Apple. I'm pretty sure it was Sling, though, where they dropped the episode a full day early. So we saw it on Monday. And we had already decided we wanted to push our Oak Island shows to Wednesday just so everybody could have a chance, anybody who's interested could have a chance to watch Oak Island on Tuesday night, let it settle, not have to run back to YouTube to watch a show, and then we would just do it the next day. So Wednesdays, we're just going to be doing Oak Island from now on, even if they drop the episode a day early. So yeah, we're going to do Oak Island later in the day. Beyond the Yellow Brick, but Brian, my solve is Wizard of Oz into Back to the Future. That's my final answer solve for the Fenn poem. God, they had a Woodland Hills division. They really, actually, what I found out, they really thought that DB Cooper somehow was related to Hollywood. They were going through thorough investigation. One of the files I was reading yesterday, they were doing thorough investigations into every major production company in Los Angeles and going through every single employee. It's crazy. Now they ended up saying this person was not DB Cooper, by the way. It's painstaking scrolling through all these, just FYI. But we do it to get the answers. And we do it, I'm doing it to try to say it's not Forrest Fenn. I'm looking for things that will discount that it's Forrest Fenn, or that are going to tell me that this book, Hahaha, was really in existence in '83, because there should be a file on it. There just should be. If there's not a file, this book did not fucking exist in 1983. And all the fucking coincidences are pointing towards 2003. Everything points at 2003. And all of a sudden, if this book was written in 2003, at the time the Codex came out, at the time we know Fenn was planning the treasure hunt, and the phrase, "I did it for the thrill of the chase," is in that other treasure hunting book, no, 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 no. Too many coincidences. The FBI was certainly going into the direction that whoever DB Cooper was a paratrooper. It's a good guess, but you can tell it's just a guess. Well, he got parachutes from the government. He requested 4, he got his 4. Some say he requested 2, but in most of the first-hand accounts I could see on the FBI pages, and I believe in the Hahaha book, it's 4. Robert Rackstraw was absolutely. Rackstraw is not DB Cooper. You can I saw the files where they say Rackstraw's out. I believe the copyright was 78, but I think he didn't know what to do with it in 78. And right, Alan, paratroopers don't know planes and flight paths like DB did, or like Fenn does. Prints not identical. Signum Limited is out, but there's a new Signum books that popped, I think, in the UK in 2010. 2010. So a new Signum showed up in 2010, but Signum Books Limited, just 1983. Is it possible that he printed these books in 1983 and kept them in boxes until he figured out what he was going to do with this treasure hunt? I don't know. That book is weird. Holding it in my hand, it's weird. I'm not sure, William. I'm not sure, but I can tell you this from the bottom of my heart. From the bottom of my heart. Reading Hahaha feels like you're reading a Forrest Fenn book. It just does. I mean, these are just... I wish it had a search function. I could just search for fucking Hahaha in each file. That wouldn't take too long. Right, treasure hunts were becoming a thing. Hell, that's right. Signum Books, K-Pro, Signum Books Limited is out of business. A new Signum Books pops up without the limited, and it pops up in 2010 in the UK. And I think I saw Indy there. You didn't break me. It was a good discovery of Matt Love, but that's something Alan had clicked on before. No one knew what to do with, and no one thought to think anything through it until you posted it. But that's why I've been looking at the FBI files before, going, wait, where's Hahaha? I've been saying it for a couple days now. Where the fuck is Hahaha in these FBI files? It should be there. And then the fact that when Indy posted the 2011 thing, it's like, wait, what the fuck? So. White male, appeared to be about 40, 5 feet, 10 inches tall, slender build, brown, slightly receding hairline, parted to the left, and was a very neat dresser and took such care of himself that he was, and why is that redacted? We are trying to dig there, Wishbone, we really are. Copy a paragraph and put it in Google to see if it pops up in another title. What, like from Hahaha? I guess I could try to do that. Hold on. I know I typed this out somewhere. Hold on. There's a quote where he hides $23,000 in a log, in a log, an old rotted log. I'm trying to find that. Yeah, here we go. Ah, shit. Copy. All right. So I'm gonna put this paragraph. Oh shit, that's weird. I'm gonna put this paragraph. I'm gonna put that paragraph. I don't know if it all showed up, but nothing. I mean, Indy, if you want to reach out to Matt, that's cool. I've already reached out to him, and I have a conversation going with him. So if you want to, I can ask, or you sure can, I guess, but I just hope he doesn't get bombarded with shit right now. Because I have a good conversation going with him. Hey, can you read this? Oh my god. On March 25th, 1977, Clyde King, oh god, that's his address, they don't have it redacted, was contacted regarding his belief that the money was located in the Grass Valley, California area. Prior to advising how he knew the money was in Grass Valley, King, age 87, stated he wants $25,000 before he furnishes his information. He stated he also wants a car and supplies. He stated that he uses a piece of volcanic tuft which is shaped like a cone and has a string tied to the large end. King stated he twirls the rock and the rock supposedly points to the area of a treasure or money. King was advised by the writer that the writer will take this matter under consideration. No further investigation is being conducted. Yeah, I bet not. Isn't this fun just scrolling through bullshit? Look at that bad boy redaction. Yeah. Ooh yeah, give it to me again. Ooh, more. Yeah. Ooh yeah. Also, yeah, lots of redaction. Ooh, that's so sexy. Give me more redaction. Oh, so much redaction. It's so much redaction. I can't handle how much redaction. It's redaction everywhere. Oh my god, so much redaction. Oh, we're back to words again. Fucking Denver, Colorado. I've been seeing that more and more. And yeah, Wish, I've reached out to Greg Ellison as well on LinkedIn, so is there an interview? There's an interview saying they know the author of Hahaha. Can you give me a link? This book was the beta test for TTOTC. I don't think it's even just that. I think it's beta test and part of it. That's where I'm at. I think they're mixed. I think they're connected. That was weird, K-Pro. I just saw that. Las Vegas. I do stop at anything Nevada, Texas, or New Mexico, or Arizona for sightings, just because I know Fenn went around those areas. The California ones don't concern me as much, even though Hahaha includes Los Angeles as a major location. Hahaha also is changing the locations up. So, Warriors, the ISBN, those ISBNs are wrong. What? Huh. Yeah, keep in mind, guys, a lot of people say they know who the author is. A lot of people say that, but, like, you know, is it really? Or they don't exist. I'll look into it more. The fact that if there's, like, faulty ISBN numbers, like, what's going on here? Again, at every little turning point or checkpoint, if you will, where there should be something that ends the conspiracy, there's just more. And typically, when that happens, you're onto something. It's not confirmation bias. Oh, yeah, this James Bryant Caufelt. This was a major suspect, but they cleared him too. I got to a file at some point when they said they had like 923 suspects cleared with like 7 to go or something like that. Crazy. Storytime by Shiloh, just a coincidence though. I mean, who knows? It's crazy. Even that has a weird story to it, I think. Again, I can't find this Haha book anywhere. Is there a Control F function I'm just not realizing I have? No, because any letter doesn't work, so no, that's... Damn. This is... Signum's linked to tarot, and Fenn was a huge fan of tarot. I mean, maybe, but... I'd rather know when Signum went out of business before I learn about tarot. Does that make sense? Like, I get it if that's a link, but like, I'd rather learn when Signum went out of business, when it started, who owned it, who operated it, where do they operate from, are there connections to these people now? Those are the information. That's the information I need first. Bill LeMay out of Texas is the potential author. It's found in the comments, Amazon book reviews. I know, I've seen it 1,000 times, so I'm not being shit, I don't know the word. I'm not being rude when I say we've seen it like 1,000 times. But yeah, we've seen it like 1,000 times. I've looked into the Bill LeMay thing. I think the Bill LeMay thing is basically debunked. It has no legs. So much redaction here. Papers, creepers. DB Cooper makes a fake bomb. Doc Brown makes a fake bomb for the Libyans. Forrest Fenn has a quote talking about going to Libya, of all places. But then Forrest Fenn calls his chest a bomb without a fuse. So I got DB, I got Doc Brown, and I got Forrest Fenn. All saying that they made fake bombs. Weird. If I want to find the Hahaha book, I need to go to Matt's. First of all, how do you think I've emailed Matt? Of course, I've been to his publishing website, and I have Hahaha. What are you talking about? And Jen, I see what you're saying about what Wayfair is saying, but with this, at some point there's intent here. Forrest Fenn changing the number of flights that he had in Vietnam from 305 to 328. This is a coincidence. This is just one of these coincidences. But again, this is at a moment of mystery for the Forrest Fenn story, one that we've been told a different story, and we find out it's 305. Why did he change it from 305 to 328? Oh, it just so happens DB Cooper hijacked flight 305. It's those things that are adding up. Fenn Galleries was opened 1 year to the day after the hijack. Unbelievable. Doc knows the answers. Yes, he does. Fenn changes his flight from 305 to 328. Fenn says he makes the exact, basically, same amount of money as DB Cooper at the same time DB Cooper made it. Fenn then magically opens an art gallery 1 year to the day after the hijacking. Nomadic Madman, we found an interview that Forrest Fenn gave in which he is quoted saying, "I flew 304 missions in Vietnam. I had to make them give me one more mission, which turned out to be more difficult than I first thought. My final flight number was 305. I lost 22 pounds and didn't know it. Oh, weight of the cash was 22 pounds. Oh, lo and behold, we have 22 pounds of treasure, or was it 20 pounds of treasure? Was it the 22-pound treasure box that we had, or was it the 20-pound treasure box? 22. Lost 22 pounds, didn't know it. Just the weight of the cash. I prayed for D's. Oh, the cash was missing the D rings on its parachute. It would have all fallen away if he didn't catch that. Oh, he knew how to work parachutes. Well, gee, I wonder who knows how to work parachutes. Oh, the guy who told us the whole story about how he parachuted and memorized and etched into his brain the procedures of having the parachute and actually using it. And that does sound intentional, Nomadic. The 22 pounds. And 308 minus 325 is 23. That's why we see 23 showing up in this book. I'm not saying this proves it. I'm just saying this is real. This is happening. I don't know what it means, but it's happening. You watched a video where he said 274 flights. What video was that from? Because the number in the treasure hunting book is 328. The number, if I go into Terry Scant, which I've done before and I'll gladly do again for you guys, 328 is the number. It's not working. Trust me, I don't have to. I'm not making this up, guys. 328 is the number. Fenn paid Rex Aerosmith $125,000 in cash. He was making 10 grand a year, or 12 grand a year, minus taxes, minus bills, minus living. Didn't have money to take his kids to get a Dr. Pepper or take them to the movies. At a time where he then tells us he made $180,000 in 1 year working out of his garage. The good old boy. There's a persona he's put on that I think people have fallen for. You know, he's just a lowly, ignorant Texan. He doesn't know shit from Shinola. No. He's an educated man. Oh, he only paid the $25K in cash. Right, well, $25K in cash for acquiring things. Remember, he said he was still working by purchasing the actual art gallery, putting it all together, sleeping on the floor, right? Is that the story we're believing? Right, and here's the other thing. They said they were going to take 10% of the profits of the book and add it to the treasure. The book that was sold for $3.95. Wayfarer, I've seen it. I have that book in my possession as well. Worse, has anyone contacted the museum? Which museum? Shit. Was I talking about a museum? Either K-Pro's interview or Jack's? 274? No. It was 274 plus something else. He's always, it equals to 328. Let's type it in. Let's see what happens. Fenn 274. Fenn. Jesus. Yep. See how 328 goes? He poked 328 combat missions, 348 days. I flew 328 combat missions, 348 days. He said to survive 328 combat missions, 328 combat missions, 328, rah, 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 328, 328, 328, rah, 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 328. 328, 328, rah rah rah, 328, rah rah rah, 328, rah rah rah, 328, rah rah rah, 328. I do not believe in this kind of coincidence, my friends. Not at all. Doesn't pop up again. Yeah, we found it. Steve Klein is like the one of the two old men in the Muppets that sits at the top of the theater and go, rah, 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 shut up. The 305 thing can only be found in that 1969 article. So if I do this... Huh? Are you lonely? Girls in the chat. What kind of website is this? That's weird. Now, Trusted, I would love that. See, now, if he's trying to be DB Cooper, that's totally fine. I'm down for that cause. I really am. I wish I could have lived to do the things I was attributed to, or I am attributed to, though, my friend, I think means the stories like he worked out of his garage, tooth and nail, slept on the floor, and just magically got his way to being a millionaire overnight. I think that's what he says when he goes, I wish I could have lived to do the things I was attributed to. He knows what he really did. He fucked the government, and I, for one, applaud him. $274 in one plane, then maybe the rest in the other plane. That's fine. But when he does the final number, he does 328. That's crazy that he found that plane, though, right? Where was that newspaper article? I had it. No 6 is showing a touch, yeah. I'm gonna have a cigarette in about 5 minutes, though. I was seeing how long I could go without one. Because I'm back to fucking smoking and I hate it, so. What am I on? How long have I been streaming for? Hour and 20 minutes? I didn't have a cigarette. Well, I had a cigarette right then. Yeah, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. Jeez. It's like cigarette break time at work. He flew a number of off-duty missions as well. Right. DB was more than polite to the stewardess. DB hit on the stewardess. Let's see the earliest sighting on Google. Young Forrest Fenn. What? Where was this? The Josh Gates thing I know, but like they had young Forrest Fenn playing. What? Samuel Moon. Oh shit, Stephanie 30acre. I spoke to Forrest about him being DB Cooper for many years. It was pretty fun. Don't be owned by the SIG companies. They force you. I know, right? I know. Spoke to the stewardess. Tin was in hiding. I found her. Oh. Forrest couldn't wait to read each chapter I wrote about him being DB. You have great ideas, Candy. Doc Brown Cooper, right? What up, boo? Can I have a ciggy? How you doing? Uh-oh. How ugh? Oh, you got in a fight with someone at Target. I'm gonna mute my thing for. I'm gonna step aside for a second. Hold on. 2 minute break. 1 minute break. They can probably hear us talking, but whatever. gotten your check from Forrest Fenn yet? For being a paid actor?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Alright. I was a target.
Hey, Boo! Alright, so Stephanie 30 Acres here is Ben slapping Ashley. This is tough. I don't even know what to ask you. You don't know me. I don't know you, Stephanie 30 Acre. But listen, we're on the madness train that you started. Like, happily. We're all aboard the DB Express here. I remember when I joined this chase and was still a lurker, I was on Chase Chat too. I didn't have a name, but I was lurking there. And one of the first threads I think I read on Forrest Fenn is Forrest Fenn DB Cooper on that site, and I was like enthralled by it. All right, so then let's see. So Fenn wants you to write this book. Did he say that he wanted you to write the book as a like? Oh, that'd be swell if someone thought I was DB Cooper, or did he say he wanted the book done by you because he wanted someone to tell the story? The concept and an overall idea here, and I don't know if it was yours, Stephanie, but at least with Alan and I talking, is the story in the olive jar is admitting he's DB Cooper. And that he won't admit he's DB Cooper until someone finds that story in the olive jar. But now I'm looking at you, he said he wasn't. So then if he says he wasn't DB, but then he said I was the first to tell him he was DB. That's cool. You probably were, to be honest. On the surface, it's an outlandish theory that he's DB Cooper. It's just once you start digging, there's just way too many coincidences here to at least go, how do I not look into this? So then okay, obviously he denies being DB Cooper. He can't just admit that to you, even if you've called him out for it, right? But then he instigates you to write a book. That's weird, right? I 100% believe he told his secrets where, that he was DB, and also that I believe he was involved in organized crime. I gotta say, do you think he was involved in organized crime because of Hahaha? Because I think a lot of the stories in Hahaha are facades for something else. In fact, my personal theory is the robbery stories in Hahaha are actually, I don't even know what you'd call them, allegories for him actually buying up land or stealing artifacts when he's in the CIA from when he's in Vietnam or something like that, or selling forgeries. I wondered if they were kind of allegories or whatnot. Oh, you wrote the book. I wrote the book on my own. So Fenn didn't instigate you to write the book? He couldn't read the chapters and would ask me for more. Okay, so he didn't say, you should go ahead and write that book. You just went ahead and did it. And then as you were doing it, you were like, hey, I wrote a new chapter. And he's like, oh my gosh, send it right over. Okay, so he didn't instigate you to write it. All right, good that we got that on the record. Is the CIA considered organized crime? Fuck yeah, it is. I think Forrest Fenn was J.D. Salinger. They both wrote about Madison. Has to be true. Hey, listen. In one of the first 2 pages of Hahaha, Madison Avenue is talked about, ladies and germs. Now, he's talking about Madison Avenue in New York, but it's Madison Avenue. I'm smoking. I won't touch it, but trust me, like page 2 of the book, he talks about Madison Avenue in Hahaha. Okay, so exactly. Okay, so I got the idea here. So he's not DB Cooper, but he loves reading these chapters. I guess you could take it one of 2 ways. He's just super impressed and enthralled with a mind that hooks him up with one of the greatest American outlaws of all time, and he just gets a kick out of it. Or he's just getting a kick that someone has nailed the story, but they haven't solved the treasure chest poem, even though maybe one has something to do with the other, and he's trying to get you there, in a way, almost. You don't think even in the autobiography that the whole point of it was that he would say he's finally that the true story in the autobiography, the one we need the magnifying glass for, that won't include DB in it? Yeah, James, seriously, like I the same. Like there's rabbit holes for much less topics, right? They were investigating Little Rock. Jeepers. Minneapolis was a focal point too. If Mr. Fenn had been in DBC, does that reaction seem likely? See, I think that's the only reaction you can give. If you tell him, if he's like, no, I'm not, don't ever talk about it, that's weird. If he laughs it off and goes, no, I'm not DB Cooper, and that's it, that's the believable one where he's not DB Cooper. But if he goes, no, I'm not DB Cooper, and then is super excited to get each chapter from this book the Searcher's writing, I don't know. And yeah, CIA is organized crime. Like 100%. Come on, they were flying drug. If you snorted cocaine in the 80s, there's a 50-50 shot you had CIA coke. Then he tells me about how he touched titanium. What? Whoa, 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 whoa. That's what was found on the tie. He told you that? The Denver Airport evil murals. Oh, believe me, I have. There's all sorts of weird shit at the Denver airport. Forrest sent me Stephanie's book years ago, which I thought strange. I sent to Alan to see if they matched. They did match. So Forrest... Okay, so Forrest isn't just excited to read your book, Stephanie. Forrest is sending it to other searchers. Forrest's image is in one of the murals? What? Can you put a link up to something like that? Hey, babe. That would be fucking insane. Oh, Miriam's saying the same thing. Fenn has a lookalike in that mural. What? I've looked into Denver airport stuff because obviously that's where they're hiding the UFOs that we're going to fight the other UFOs back with when the aliens invade. But my goodness, I didn't know that Fenn had a lookalike there. See, and Stephanie goes, I didn't know he was doing that. This is why I love that we're talking, guys. Why would Forrest send this to other searchers? Holy shnikes, man. And again, lucky, there was like 6 sketches. I've been scouring through the FBI files. They couldn't agree on which sketch to actually put out into the general public. A couple had a cleft chin, a couple didn't have cleft chins. Like, don't just rely on this one sketch, guys. Miriam or Stephanie, can you... Yeah, please. Yeah, let's see if we can get this link in the chat so I can look at it. Well, I'll be the judge if it looks like Fenn. I'm declaring myself judge. You sent me the mural? Shit, when did you send me that? Oh, or did you just send it to me right now? Okay. Oh, I've seen this mural. Oh, shit. What's he have with him? Is that a bottle of beer in his hand? Fenn looking over his shoulder. Huh. I mean, I guess you could see how that's Fenn or how that's not Fenn, but... What's up, boo?
Nothing.
Alright, hold on. Let me open image, new tab. Let me pull that over here. There you go. And Lucky Digger, if you read Hahaha, the guy says, I hid my accent. Why do you guys think that the hijacker would just put off his actual personality? Why do you think the hijacker, if he's Southern, why do you, if he has a little bit of a Southern accent, you think he'd just, yeah, here's my Southern so you can identify me? No, he's going to fake it. The person in the book says, I bought the pack of Raleighs so that they could think I'm a smoker. So that the flaky bunch of idiots, the FBI, go down the wrong path. Which is exactly what they did. That's how you get away with a crime. Like, most of you guys are really bad at getting away with a crime. That's a good thing. But, like, you guys would be awful criminals. And that's why people like, you know, organizations like the FBI and shit, they get stuff wrong all the time because they can't think like criminals either. You have to think like a criminal to catch a criminal, honestly. I'm not saying I'm a criminal. I'm just saying, you know. Maybe I am. What's my email? First initial, last name at Gmail. So BKNAPPLE at Gmail. Heck, one of the composites had him having blue eyes. Come on. This is, come on. I'm not quoting that one. I don't use that one for the whole point. They're not reliable. I mean, he's even wearing his hat. That's fun right there. The hat thing is like... The owner of the Ariel General Store said that she knew the author of Hahaha. Same with the owner of the bar that they have the DB Cooper meetings at yearly or had at Ariel. A lot of people say they know. A lot of people say they knew where the location of the treasure was, right? I don't rely on witnesses, especially offhand secondary. Especially for a 50-year-old cold case. No, not at all. Sent the pic. I think I already have the pic up, right? Isn't the pic on right now? Or is there another pic? Exactly, DS. And this is how we can take some of the stories he's given us and see differences here. Holidays are special for F. He was jumping out of a 727, then the next day he was strolling in the front door on Thanksgiving, just like after being shot down and strolled in the door on Christmas Eve. Exactly. Exactly. This is how you have to think fourth dimensionally. Not relying on a book. Not relying. The book just happens to corroborate everything about the thrill of the chase, including the fucking phrase, I got lost in the thrill of the chase. So at the very least, this book is connected to Forrest Fenn. That doesn't make him DB Cooper. But something about this book screams Forrest frickin' Fenn. I don't know if I want to go the Epstein route, Stephanie. Getting lost may be the clue, Ben. Right, Mario? Yeah. I have to turn the fan on, boys and girls. It's not a good idea. So is this Forrest Fenn, guys? Yes or no? Yes or no? In the chat, is that Forrest Fenn at the Denver International Airport mural? I am fascinated with San Lazaro Holdings and who's owned it, the ownership history of it as well. Yeah. FBI are criminals just like the CIA. I've seen an FBI report that 94% of thwarted terrorist acts had FBI agents involved with perps. Well, yeah, I mean, you got to go undercover, right? There's something to be said there. But, yes, these organizations are corrupted. Absolutely. And they've been slowly corrupted over time. You know, FBI and the CIA probably have good intentions, per se, but meh. There you go. Sorry, there's a glare there. Ah! I know how to fix this. Nope, I don't know how to fix this. Nope. Sun's just gonna have to move, boys and girls. This glare will be here for a minute. Fenn said he was not a Mason. Reading all your chats, folks. I don't know what y'all are talking about sometimes. Let's do part 23 just for shits and giggles. Ben, don't be a dipshit. Get the facts straight. What are you talking about, dude? Some of y'all are so hostile on the keyboard. If you come, you best come correct. What? Okay, I'll throw it right back at you, man. What are you fucking talking about? This is a volunteer saying the jump could be made successfully. That's what this is about. Stapleton International. What? Are you mad that I'm calling it DIA instead of Stapleton Internet? Is that what you're mad at, dude? Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Is that what you were mad at? Get a grip. A decommissioned name? It's just... Okay. I don't have time for this. Christ almighty. Making me smoke another cigarette, man. I like you, Ghost. What the fuck? Stephanie, here's what I think. I think Forrest Fenn was able to do the DB Cooper fiasco. Caper, as the DB Cooper caper is called. The DB Cooper caper in Hahaha. God, this thing is annoying. The DB Cooper caper in Hahaha. Forrest Fenn can get away with it because I'm saying he's CIA. And if he's CIA, you know, the CIA and the FBI don't work well with each other. We know that. He even alludes to it in the book, Hahaha. He talks shit about the FBI. So I think years later, when he's chubby with whoever is in, I think he was, honestly, I know he was friends with Rumsfeld, but when he, let's just use Rumsfeld for example, because it's the easiest example. He's sitting there with Rumsfeld. Oh, turn the monitor. Duh, see? Problem solved. Thank you, K-Bro. This is why we all need to help each other sometimes. I forgot what I was saying. It's just I think he and Rummy sat back one day in Montana together, and Rummy said to him, "I can't believe you were DB Cooper." And Forrest went, "Who's DB Cooper?" And they both just sat there and tossed one back. Him a Coors Light, and Rummy probably some whiskey. That's what I think. So yeah, I do think he's connected to high, powerful people for sure, and protected. I think that's why he didn't suffer the same consequences as other folks did in 2009. Do we want different music than Back to the Future? At this point, I think I'm Back to the Future out, yeah. But every time I hear it, it just gets me in that mood. I love the music. But I think we should change it up a bit, yeah? Maybe a different movie. Keep it we'll keep it wordless. I'll do National Treasure for a bit. What's my story? Oh God, Stephanie, you are unfortunately a little late to the party. People are sick of hearing me tell my story. They really are. You know, I'm new to the community, but like part of that was just kind of introducing myself, and like I've told the stories. I'll give you the quick synopsis. I used to be an archaeologist. I went to UNLV, and when I was at UNLV as an archaeology student, I was on a dig in New Mexico, Mimbres, New Mexico. We were digging up Mogollon pit houses, and while I was there, I ran into an old guy at a bar, and he told me that he had hid a treasure. Didn't tell me there was going to be a book or a poem or anything like that, and I just laughed it off. Okay. And I was with archaeology buddies at the time, and professors, and they were away at another table. And after I had this 5-minute conversation with Fenn where I talked to him about what happened on our dig, I happened to break a Native American jawbone and skull when we were on a dig, so I told him that story and how I kind of had some bad luck afterwards. And kind of sparked his interest, and then told me about he was doing a treasure. He wanted to know about my future in archaeology, and I told him I wasn't going to stay in archaeology because it was a bunch of bullshit politics that I didn't know about, and I had been told to stay quiet on a lot of my questions that they didn't like. And I think there's a scam in academia with these textbooks that people don't know about. And they republish these books and add like 3 words to them, but make the students pay the $500 for the new book when they could just check out the old book. Or it's so you know, he was kind of interested in that too, and he never told me his name or anything like that. And they're like, "Do you know who that is?" When I walked back to the table, and they're like, "Well, no." He said he buried treasure or some shit. I don't know. And then they're like, "That's Forrest Fenn. He's a grave robber. Stay away." And I did. So I never knew about the chase. I was a lurker. I knew about the poem in the book in 2015, 2016. I can't remember the exact time. And remembered what I had heard, and it was just like, oh, I guess he actually did it. That's actually fucking nuts. I remember this guy's face. It's him. Holy shit. But I didn't pursue it. And then late 2019 hit. I knew COVID was coming, and so I adjusted everything before it actually came. And I just sunk into the chase at the end of 2019 and was a lurker. And then everything else happened. So I wrote him a letter on June 2nd, 2020, and I brought up a specific topic from that conversation we had without bringing up the conversation because I wanted to see if the dude even remembered it. And it also gave a little bit of myself, and he never replied, and then the chest was found like 3 days later. So that's my story. Not important, right? No, dude, let me tell you this, or dudette, I never bought a single textbook my entire time in university. I went to the library, I photocopied pages. Otherwise, it was like $2,500 each semester for books. Kiss my ass. But are you a writer for Jens? So yeah, Jens, you have a Fenn NDA on my desktop. I don't have Fenn NDA on my desktop. I said that thing must have been Photoshopped because I have no idea what it was talking about. I have looked into it. I know exactly what they're talking about. I'm just going to type it in. I don't know how to share screen. Hold on. I labeled a file Fenn NDA. Where is it? Oh, it's going to what? Internet. All right, let me search for the damn thing. Fenn NDA, and it was my conversation with Jack Stoof, where I asked him about an NDA. I'm going to get the file for you. Okay, so how do I just share? How do I share? Stop screen, share screen, share the window. Just share the entire screen, yes. Okay. Fenn NDA is sitting, here's NDA. Do you see this? How do I, Jack Stoof. Now, where's Fenn NDA? Fenn NDA. Jack Stoof. Do you guys see that? Good enough? I'm sorry for saying it was photoshopped. I had no idea what he was talking about. I didn't remember typing in Fenn NDA. I was probably just typing in Fenn and then NDA because I was going to put it in the Fenn folder, and I never did. It just sat on my fucking desktop. So, there you go. And you can see like 3 of me now. It's very weird. Alright, we're going to go back to the way it was, right? Share. Oh, shit. How do I... Okay, do that? Is that good? Okay. Yeah, we're back to that. Okay. I'm glad I cleared that up, though, because, yeah. Honestly, I was like, what the fuck is that shit? They all think you are all actors. I know, but that's like a Fendi. That's just I think that's just a symptom of the chase, right? How did I connect with Jens? Okay, so I took the family boots on the ground because they had well, first of all, never been to Yellowstone, so if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was, my long-term memory is better than my short-term memory, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, it was July, like early July we went, right? Because we were there for July 4th. And so we went boots on the ground at the Madison and all that shit. And as we're driving back, Ashley, my girlfriend, is basically saying to me as we're driving, you know, we should do a YouTube channel as well, because we were watching. I had my girlfriend I indoctrinated my girlfriend just like I indoctrinated myself. I dove in with all the YouTube channel stuff. I watched as many videos as I could as I would be researching on Google Maps and Google Earth like everybody else does. And so I kind of did the same to Ashley without the research part because the chest was already found. But there was still shenanigans going on in this chase, so it was still of interest to me anyway. And I had been lurking at this point on all the message boards. Ashley is not in this room. I keep pointing like she's in this room. She's not. Said, we should just do a YouTube show too, because we had showed up on, I think, Candies, I think only Candies, for a few times, and it was fun. It was just fun to talk about the chase with you guys, who, you know, I had seen on just my TV screen because I watched it on my Xbox, and like y'all lived in my fucking bedroom for a while, so I was like, all right, fine, I'll do it, because I didn't want to do it. She had brought it up once or twice, like, why don't you do one of these? And I was like, because I don't want to be a part of this. Like, I'm very fine lurking. And eventually she convinced me. She had a YouTube channel that already had like 1,000 subscribers on it, so we just used that, morphed it into Treasure Warriors, and we just started doing our shows. And then Jens, sorry, the point of this was Jens. Jens happened to be watching one of them, and I had heard there's some documentarians out there, and I had heard all their names, and I had looked into them, but never reached out to any of them. And Jens popped in my chat one day and was like, hey, I live in Los Angeles. You live in Los Angeles. You keep saying you're a writer. You know Forrest Fenn. And I like he was talking. He said messages kind of like in that chat, and I was just like, hey Jens, I see you in the chat. Reach out to me, man. Let's talk. He sent me an email. That's kind of how we got talking. We started talking on the phone, and he's like, I see, you know, you're very interested in Forrest Fenn. I'd like to meet you. See if maybe you could help me write this. I need a writer. Blah 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 blah. And that's what happened. Listen, Ben, you are part of the Treasure Warriors. Well, thank you for that, Stephanie. Appreciate that. And thank you for the nice Jens impression. I appreciate that, too. I don't know if Jens appreciates it, but... And hell yeah, World Series of Fenn. What is that, 80 days away? Shit, man. We're getting close. Less than 90 is always like the news. The news is going to start talking about it if it's less than 90, right? I don't understand what that means, Steve. I just don't. Back to research. I like these. I like this wording. Could it be in the best interest of the FBI if he did not eliminate blank as a suspect because there is a slight possibility blank could be identical with the hijacker? There's a slight possibility he could be identical. No wonder they never caught this guy. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Oh, now he smokes cigars. Sandy brown hair and blonde. Oh, okay. Claimed to have been a Green Beret. And already just considered armed and dangerous. Why not? Just throw that in there. Armed and dangerous. Everybody's armed and dangerous in this thing. I guess it's standard, right? Is it bowl time, Davio? Turn your kids away. See Charlie, home of Brown, Davio. Davio, see Doc, home of Brown. I know you hate it, but that's fine. Come on. Doc Brown, baby. Doc Brown! Riverside Drive. Right off the Madison. This is a poem that plays in past, present, and future tenses. All right, raise your hand if you think Forrest Fenn had any influence in National Treasure behind the scenes. Ooh, that one's gonna make me cough. Whew. Did we work out yet if Fenn was... Oh, this one's gonna make me high, guys. Usually I'm under control. This one might actually get me. Wow. Did we work out if Fenn was DB Cooper? Yeah, he is. Oh. I gotta start putting notifications back on my phone. Forrest's twin brother may be DB. I think Skippy could be DB. That'd be okay. So there's an interview with DB Cooper that we're still trying to determine if it's real, but he's asked twice in this interview if he had a partner. Each time, DB Cooper responds, "Skip it." Did you have a partner that was helping you out? Because it seems like you would have needed a partner. Skip it. Later in the interview, again, they try. So who was your partner? Skip it. Huh? Sounds like a Mr. Forrest Fenn to me. Talking about a little guy named Skippy. K-Pro Treasure Warriors in Indy. I just completed a 21-page PowerPoint that profiles Jack against the 876 Condor 2 Reddit/Chase posts. Facts, the Your 82 show the frequency histogram chart with analysis. Packer Jack, do you want to come on right now and go over this, dude? Let's see it. That seems fucking amazing. Stephanie, I don't want to go there. I really don't. Everything's like, I think, jiving well, so. FF never called his older brother Skippy. Davio, have you looked into the fishing log from William Marvin Fenn? He puts Skippy in like quotation marks in his fishing log. He calls him Skippy the whole way through, though, in the fishing log. So why wouldn't Forrest call him Skippy? Packer Jack, you want to do this, man? I would love to fucking see this PowerPoint, dude. You're still at your office. You want to just send it to me? I'll narrate it, man. It's all. It'll say. I'll have a comment that's up the whole time saying property of Packer Jack. Or do you want to present it? That's fine. But dude, I'll stay on, man. I'll stay on until you're done, or I'll go back on, whatever. Let me make sure Ashley's not texting me too. See if Ashley's coming on. No Fenn involvement in National Treasure based on the Beale cipher. Fair, but you don't think he had any kind of influence on just like, I don't know, the writing style of it? I mean, I guess, why would he? But I don't know, I would like it if he did. The guy said he knew fucking Spielberg, for crying out loud, right? Which is why I also have the Back to the Future solve. He knew Spielberg, so. Wasn't he turning alpha? I always liked the concept that you had to find two alphas to match the two omegas. Ah, Packer Jack can come on, yay! And Stephanie, again, you're more than welcome to be here. It's just I don't want to do the drama. I tried to have a channel where it's like everybody's included, yeah, but I don't want to give a platform to drama. I gave a speech once, Stephanie, and I said, "Look at me. I'm the platform." Sometimes I can come off a little asshole-ish, but I think some people understand I'm very lighthearted and easygoing with this. Yeah, Packer Jack, I'm going to send it to you right now. gotta find you, man. Where the hell did you go? There you go. Packer Jack, boy, was I wrong on that. What's his face? Love prediction. Fair enough, Steph. Let's just stay clear of it. Don't stay silent. Don't stay away. Just, let's just move on from that. On both sides. Please stop the music. I know, this one isn't relaxing, is it? I'm sorry. I'm going to have Packer Jack on anyway, so. All right. That wasn't, yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. Sometimes I get into that music, though. It's very fun to do investigations when you have this music playing. Makes you want to drink? Yeah, it kind of makes me want to have a beer. Packer Jack.
What's up, Ben?
How you doing, dude? Hold on, let me fix
great.
Echo here. Audio, echo cancellation. There we go. We should be good. Oh, look at you in that. This is like, I used to watch interviews of my favorite writers, and a lot of the times they would have the whiteboard like you do behind you.
Yeah.
And every time I would like pause YouTube, make sure it's in 1080p, and try to look at everything on that whiteboard because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's all gobbledygook. It's all gobbledygook. There's no trade secrets on there.
If you were a TV show writer, though, I'd be going, could you move the camera to the left? So what's going on, dude?
Nothing. I'm just finishing up the workday here, but I've been working on, prior to all the goofball stuff that went on with us the last month, I had been really looking into kind of profiling Jack, not as any claim to be a FBI profiler. I'm just an amateur consulting detective, not to Sir Conan Doyle, but really was taking a look at the frequency of the Reddit posts. How often did they happen? There were 876 between May 20th of 2018 through the 6/7/2020, and just what was that activity and what can be gleaned from that?
This is stuff I was like only could dream of, man. This is
amazing. So doing like histogram charts of that, but then going back to the wonderful show that you and Mike and K-Pro did on August 2nd. And if you guys haven't seen that, it's Cal Lazar's August 2nd show. So some of the stuff I'll refer to is from that show. Go back and watch it. I did a couple screenshots from that show some of the timelines that Ben and K-Pro worked on together. And we don't have to waste a lot of time talking about those things now so we can get through this. But
right.
We are on StreamYard. I don't know if you can share a screen or if you want me to email you my PowerPoint presentation or.
I'm trying to figure out. Can you just like do a share screen on you, and I can just do solo layout for you? Is there a function that you have that you could like share what's on your screen?
I can see share. Yeah, hang on a second. And I've got multiple screens, so let me see if I can get mine up. That's what she said, as Mike would say. Screen sharing is the easiest with two monitors. Screen sharing. Let's just see, because I've got multiple things up, including one of my employees' disk profiles. So I'm going to put that away. Let me see. Let me see what you see if I do this. Okay, no, yeah, cool. So screen one. I'm going to click on that. And then I can go to full screen on that. So can you guys see that right now, or can you see that, Ben?
Hold on. I can add that to the stream. There we go. Boom. Yeah.
Okay, let me see if we go full screen, if this works or not.
Let me see. What if I did this? Okay, I can do that. So we're both our ugly mugs are off the screen. It's just it's just you.
Can you see full screen my presentation?
No, I still see all your windows open. So if you go to the red window at least and hit that box, that'll at least make that full screen at the top right hand corner.
Oh, right here? No, that did not work.
No. Now move your mouse to the right hand corner of that window, though. You were in the right spot, but all the way to the other side of the red. Kind of where your name is.
I'm losing you here. Let me just see. Did that click off now, or?
I hear you.
I was just trying to go full screen with the presentation. When I did it, switched to a different screen. So let me go back to, let me try this one more time. Let's stop screen for a second. let me now click to full screen on my presentation.
Isn't this also a trade secret that every time you do a sales presentation, this happens every freaking time?
Well, I just never used Stream. Like if we were on Zoom right now, this would be no issue for me. But
Yeah, no, I know. But I'm just saying Murphy's Law, like whenever I come in with a laptop to do a presentation, I eventually shut it, and that's when I get serious.
Well, let's just see if this is large enough. Let me just enlarge this, and we'll go back to the way that we were doing it before. So some of this is going to be too small for you guys to see, but I'll guide you through it. So hang on a second. So hopefully this can now be seen, right?
Yep.
So I'd like it to be a little bit bigger, but I'll be able to toggle back and forth then. So
this is pretty good though.
Yeah, so this was my belief is that the Condor 2 came from the movie 3 Days of the Condor. I know people thought everything else, but if you ever see that movie, Robert Redford's a CIA guy that figures out codes and gets caught into a damned if you do, damned if you don't. John Grisham based his first writings off of this movie. This was one of his favorite movies. So just as an aside, if you ever want to watch Robert Redford in 3 Days of the Condor with Faye Dunaway, it's a great movie.
I think that's a good idea.
All right, let's go to the next one. So what this is, so table of contents, I'll talk about what this isn't, what it is, the frequency histogram of the 876 Reddit posts by the Condor 2, looking at the histogram with information from the show that you did, Ben, with Mike and Christy. I'll then look at the histogram with the actual and suspected dates that Jack was boots on the ground. Then there's a section about when does the Condor 2 start talking like a gambling man? So a little bit behavioral analysis that you can agree or disagree with, but that I thought was interesting. When does the Condor 2 become concerned for the first time after over 600 some posts about searcher safety during the winter? When does the risk of potentially finding the chest but not coming forward, when does the risk of that become a reality, and when is there no going back? And I believe that was when Michael Wayne Sexton passed away in March of 2020. How did that turn a high-stakes treasure hunt into a high-stakes cover-up? How did the adversaries of Forrest and Jack become enemy accomplices? And what's next? So let's see if we can go to the next slide here. I think there might be a delay. Is that switching for you, Ben? There we go.
No, there we go. Yeah.
So what I'm not trying to claim, I'm not an official profiler, obviously. I don't claim to be an expert, but I just really enjoyed kind of going off of what you and K-Pro did, Ben, and just kind of going through all these things. The other thing that this is not is there's no private information. I didn't do any doxing of Jack. Most of this information, besides my suppositions, has been readily available in posts, photos, websites, and YouTube shows. So while there's some new suppositions and some new things to look at, I'm not here to say, oh, there's breaking news and I have all this new information for you to look at. It's just a way to look at this in a different way and look at it off of historical information. It does lead to the belief that many of us hold that the chest was found, the location was found in 2019. And that's not new to anyone. And I've said that before, that's my belief. This is also not an indictment of Jack in any way or character assassination. I don't believe he's committed any crimes. I'm not aware of any crimes that he's committed. And I don't think that lying or withholding information about a treasure hunt, even though it may offend or hurt many in the search community, I don't think that's a crime in itself. I don't believe Jack is responsible in any way for the actions of other searchers, including the death of a searcher in March of 2020. And I hold that same opinion of Forrest. That's my personal opinion, and if you disagree, I get it, but I'm not here to make a case for or against liability for Jack. And this is not a reason in any way, shape, or form to have anyone attempt to contact Jack or harass him, in his family, anybody, his privacy. That's not why I'm doing this. I'm just sharing this information that I put together, and you wouldn't be serving me well if you take this information and try to get after Jack with it. Because again, I don't think there's really anything new here, just looking at it differently. What this presentation is, it's a look at the 876 chase-related posts by the Condor 2 between May 20th of 18 and 6/7 of 2020. It's a look at the frequency and daily number of posts via histography. It's a comparison of chase-related events and facts regarding Jack Stoof, aka the Condor 2, in relation to that histogram. It's a tip of the cap to and a thanks to K-Pro, Mike, and Ben for their presentation regarding Jack on August 2nd. And again, if you haven't seen that show, I would look at that in conjunction with this. It's a look at changes in behavior of posting frequency and the vernacular by the Condor 2 during the span of these posts in relation to chase-related events. It's my suppositions and my conclusions for you to consider on if the chest was found and retrieved on June 5th and 6th of 2020, as Jack claims, or actually found in 2019. And as a lead-in for next time, does what was conveyed in this presentation coincide in any way with the auction website that was believed to be a hoax by most? So that's something that could be for a future date to look at. So the next, this page, what I'm going to show you is a histogram, and I know it may be too small for many of you to see, but it actually spans where you see blank, those first couple of months, those are months on the bottom. It actually starts in April, but you'll see the first postings regarding the chase by the Condor 2 starting in May, and to be exact, the 20th of 2018, how they start off infrequent and how they become very frequent. The other chart going vertically is the number of posts per day. Now, either one of these things could be meaningless, and they both could be meaningless. And so it's really for you guys to decide what you think about this. It's really just to take some of the written information and charting history like was presented on August 7th and look at it in a different way. There could be multiple posts in a day of Ben and I saying, hey man, how you doing? I'm doing great. What's going on with you? Nothing. And there could be 4 or 5 posts that day that really don't have any content.
Right.
So the science to this would be looking at days where there's a lot of posts and actually looking at what that content is. Why is the Condor 2, aka Jack, having 14 posts in sometime in June of 2019, or having 13 posts sometime at the end of October beginning, and really looking at what that content is. And you can go back and look at that database of the Condor 2 posts.
And by the way, guys, I'm gonna figure out how to do this, but I'm gonna clip out this presentation and make it its own video so people don't have to jump in. Like, if you want to tell someone about Packer Jack's amazing presentation, and maybe he'll give it again, but I doubt it. Just, I don't know how many times you want to talk through this, but I'm going to clip this out so it's its own thing so people can just watch this just later on. So just FYI. Great.
So there are more posts from the Condor 2. There was another Reddit thread, for those of you who aren't aware, called Churning, and Jack was really into credit card points, how to get free trips. Many of us have talked about that. Some think he was taking advantage. I called him an opportunist, and he wasn't breaking any laws. He was just working a system. And so when you see the infrequency at the beginning of this, there are a lot of Condor 2 posts, but they're under a separate Reddit called Churning. It's interesting behaviorally when you look at the beginning of this chart starting in May of 18 and how infrequent Jack posts about the chase when he's starting to get in it, that he was really obsessed with the churning thing. And if you go back and look at when the churning posts start to die down, you get into January of 2019. And at that point, I think there might be one more in February, and then there's none more on churning. He went 100% into the chase. And you can see when these blue lines start to come together and form columns and get really thick, that he was pretty much going on close to daily, except for those small gaps that you see in there. And so you can kind of see behaviorally how Jack's attention turned from the wonderful art of how to get credit card points and free trips to I am now a full-blown searcher in the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt, which is kind of cool when you look at this chart.
Yeah.
You can also see at the end of the chart when his interest starts to wane or dissipate, or he's purposely not being online as much anymore once you get past October of 2019. So it's kind of interesting to see that. And I'll get a little more in depth with some of this as we go through it. Again, we're on slide 6. So what I wanted to do on this slide, and I know some of you won't be able to read this, so I'll read some of this text that you see, is matching up Ben and K-Pro's great work on the August 7th presentation on things they have listed and where some of the major points they were trying to make coincided with this historical graph of when these posts were taking place. The first one from that was when Jack was boots on the ground, and I actually have another slide that circles those, and that's green on the bottom. The Santa Fe trip in April is on the bottom, and you can't really read that, but that's what that is. And then Jack's last boots on the ground in October of 2019, or what we believe to be his last boots on the ground in 2019. Above the lines, where there's that black text, it starts off on 424, 423 on the very long messages that Jack or the Condor 2 posted about what do you do if you find the chest. So interestingly enough, that those posts, as K-Pro and Ben pointed out, coincide with Jack's boots on the ground and then the trip to Santa Fe. He's making those long posts at that time, and you can see the activity around that time as well too.
So what I like to call it, so he does the O.J. Simpson "If I Did It" post,
right,
in April of 2019, after the boots on the ground trip or before?
It's probably when they are.
What do you? Oh, it says 423. I already know that's after. That's a day
right.
after he's back. That's the day he's back home.
Right.
He posts the message. What do you do if you find the chest?
Yeah. And if we zoom in, I'll zoom in later, but you see that really heavy period, and then there's a gap. There's looks like a white column in the middle going up from the bottom.
Right.
And that is the boots on the ground time. So we'll look at that a little bit later, but you can actually see he was posting really heavily every day. It stops for just a few days. That coincides exactly with the boots on the ground trip. 6, 7, there's another, as we get into June, he posts about what do you do if you remove the chest from Yellowstone. So Ben, you remember you and K-Pro talking about that on kind of your timeline, and I'll show that page again in just a second. Then we move all the way into September as this black text that you can't read because it's too small. But he has a discussion about being liable for the deaths and how you would sell the chest on 9/11. He talks about Puerto Rico on 9/20, and from 10/7 to 10/12, he is talking about how the hunt was not set up well, about taxes, and how it was an S show. So if you remember, he's basically saying, Forrest, this is an S show that Forrest set up. That moves to 10/17, and he's talking about taxes and legal and the scrapbooks. Then on 11/11, he gets into the abandonment, get it in writing. Everybody in the wood will claim it. Never has anything as valuable been in my car before. I'll talk about that in the use of the word before. Then on 11/27, he talks about destroy it in lawsuits. Continues into December talking about taxes. And then on February 2nd, he spends a lot of time getting into how you would bid and how you would do an auction. There's obviously people that are not agreeing with him on how an auction would be done. So I put those on there to show how they coincide with what K-Pro and Ben did. And if you remember from that August 2nd show, K-Pro had this slide, which was her crazy theory about Jack finding it in 2019. And again, this is K-Pro's material. I just wanted to have it in here to kind of show you part of what my research was as I was doing this histogram. And then Ben and K-Pro had put together, if you remember, this chart about dates and when these things happened with, when Jack went to Yellowstone, when Paco gets arrested, boots on the ground. All those things are in the August 7th, 2nd presentation, which is great. So now let's take a look back on boots on the ground. So you can
hold on, go back to it, because I said something inaccurate.
Yeah, go ahead.
Off bad memory. If he posted, what do you do if you find it on April 23rd? Right?
Right. That's right.
Or April 24th. But that's as he's getting to Santa Fe.
Right. So all that happened in that time frame, though.
That's even weirder.
Boots on the ground. Right.
That's even weirder.
Yeah. So they're
I
back
can't
at a
believe I
hotel
forgot
or
to see
doing
his
whatever,
card.
and he's online making these
This
posts.
becomes mush in your head when you don't
Yeah.
like look at it all the time. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's even stranger. Wow. All right, sorry about that.
So this is I circled, and I'll blow this up because I knew we wouldn't be able to read it. So this is a blow up of the suspected boots on the ground dates and frequency of posting and everything. So that white column I talked about, you're right, Ben, was actually right before. He goes dark right before they go boots on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got him going dark right before a confirmed boots on the ground in October. And then we know sometime it's supposed that there was also a potential boots on the ground in that July-August timeframe.
Yeah.
So these are the two that you and KPro confirmed, and there's a potential another one. I thought it was interesting to see how there's an actual.
Well, and here's the thing, dude. Here's the thing. At the time, I wasn't releasing everything. There were other boots on the ground trips that I knew about, and for all I know, it could be those timeframes. The problem is my Reddit source got hacked, and that crazy fiasco happened, and we haven't had access to the data, or he hasn't had. I've never had access. He hasn't had access to it, so I can't even fill in those gaps anymore. But there were gaps as well. So this matches what I know I've heard and talked about with my source, and gone over with my source.
So I'm going to skip ahead to this slide and then come back, because I did this slide called a gambling man. And this is just a behavioral supposition by me. After that last boots on the ground in October, you see this line that I put up. And here's what I noticed as I read through all 876 posts, that for the previous 667 posts to the 12th of October of 2019, even when challenging, razzing, or insulting someone, the Condor 2 never uses the vernacular of wagering or betting. After that date, he does it twice within 3 days and then makes a huge overture at the beginning of 2020. I know that these are fuzzy, but I'll read the exact posts, and they actually go from the bottom up. So on, it goes from the top down. So on the 12th of October, he says, I would bet $1 million Fenn doesn't know what an emoji is. Never uses any vernacular about betting, $1 million, nothing. He says repeatedly that he can't afford to signify to people that they're close. I don't know why people think he's lying about that. You can hope you're a lead searcher all you want, but it's not going to help you find the chest. 3 days later, he responds to somebody by saying, do you have any possessions worth more than, say, $2,000? Because I'd be happy to give you $600 betting against you finding it if you give me those possessions when you don't find it. Ask your wife if that sounds like a good idea. Again, 667 prior posts, never in his wrangling with people, never brings up wagering. And then on the 1st or the 10th of January, and this to me is a slip up or just trying to get something out. He says, I wish there was a simple and secure way to bet against individuals who think they're going to find the treasure. So again, based on this change in behavior, my supposition is only that a person with the confidence of being right and who just acquired, let's say, $1 million to wager would make these type of statements when they have never made offers like this before. And Profiling Jack would lead to make a point that after his boots on the ground in October, his confidence was at an all-time high. He knew the location and knew that the money would be his. And to me, it's a tell where he's still being crafty to not say that he's the finder, but he can't help himself in engaging as the Condor 2, his alter ego, and responding to searchers with slip-ups by beginning to make wagering comments when he previously, over 2 years, had not done so. So again, here's that chart again. You have over 660 posts where he never talks about wagering. And after that date, he immediately makes 2 and then another one after that. Again, I could be completely wrong. It's my belief, but to me, that's an interesting change in dynamic in the way that these posts were done. The next thing to me was noticing what I call the winter of Jack's discontent. Because just like the last slide, and I'll go back to it again very quickly, where you see that green line, prior to that green line, in all of these previous posts, there was never a show of concern or warnings about people not going out and searching in the winter. And there was obviously a full winter of 2018 and 2019. There was one comment about safety very early on, and it was about bear caves, and the Jack had talked to, or the Condor 2 had talked to a ranger about bear safety. Nowhere in that entire listing from 5/2018 through October of 2019 is he ever advocating for searcher safety during winter. So here are the posts, and these actually also go from top to bottom. I don't think anyone on this sub should be telling people it's a foot race, especially this time of year. If there's snow on the ground, please don't go out. Stay safe and take care. We can't laugh at you if you die. On 11/14/2019, he hit it in summer. So if that were the case, how did he see the blaze? He tells people not to search in winter. I don't know why you would think that's misdirection. People have died. It's not a good idea. And in response to somebody asking what they should take, if they should go searching, he says, a life insurance policy. It's nearly December. And then on the 21st of January of 2020, he said, maybe if searchers stopped acting like effing idiots trying to get themselves killed, the articles would have made them sound like effing idiots trying to get themselves killed. My point on this in behavioral analysis is these are all posts after that high confidence point. The same point of gambling man is the same point where now the Condor 2 or Jack seems to now be concerned about searcher safety in winter when that was never the case before. So the next point I wanted to bring up was the risk becomes the reality and there's no going back. And I put my opinion before each one of these points because, again, this is my opinion. I don't think Jack and Forrest are responsible for searchers going out in the winter in 2020 and therefore the life of Michael Wayne Sexton. I do think Jack thought this through in advance of his plan not to come out in 2019 or prior to that death, but I don't think he thought he would be responsible or legally wrong for how he was doing this, and it wasn't a reality at that time. I do think he felt distress on 3/24, and I'm about to show you those posts that he made on 3/24 and where they fall in the histogram. In fact, why don't I just do that right now, Ben, before we finish with my opinions here?
Fair enough.
So the Sexton deaths, 5 posts within 6 hours. Actually, I'm going to skip ahead to show this to you on the histogram. On 3/24, after infrequent posting, you now see this level to 5 posts. The Condor 2 is seeking confirmation if it was a searcher, and you'll see how inquisitive, one might even say concerned, the Condor 2 is to find out if this is a searcher death or not, because there's 5 posts within 6 hours. What you'll also see is after those 5 posts and after it's confirmed it's a death, the Condor 2 does not post for 13 straight days. Goes quiet for 2 weeks after that.
And he's not searching then, that's for
Right.
sure.
So here are the 6 posts. And
Wow.
I'm going to go from bottom to top on these because this is an exact screenshot from the wonderful person. I forget his name. Maybe you do, Ben, who put all these posts together and did the PDF of this. But beginning on 3/24/2020, the Condor 2 post has that actually be confirmed. I haven't seen anything in the media. I can understand him, and I believe he's saying Forrest. I can understand him being angry if that's true. Grown adults twice putting rescuers at risk in these conditions in his name. Now, if you remember, Michael Wayne Sexton and his friend had gone out 2 weeks before, and I think they were even arrested for going out searching the 2 weeks prior to that, and then went out again 2 weeks later, and unfortunately, Mr. Sexton passed away. So the second post that was then sent just about an hour and 10 minutes after the first post. Okay, but no mention of them being searchers. Then another post literally a minute later. Okay, but is it confirmed they actually know them? There are always trolls around willing to grab something and claim it's about the search. Then another post an hour and a half later. What Facebook group? What's wrong in the article? Were they not really in Utah? And then finally that last post, Denver Post confirms they were searching, and it's the link to the Denver Post article about Michael Wayne Sexton passing away. I looked at this, and that's why I called this "The Risk Now Becomes the Reality." there's no way, if we believe that this was found in 2019, that the Condor or Jack can go back. And I don't believe it's because they believe they're responsible. I believe it's because of the potential legal morass, all of the things that we know would put him and Forrest in a position to potentially have a legal morass. And then there's, of course, the court of public opinion and the morality police that are going to be out to say that you're responsible for this person's passing. So the third bullet point, because I did the first, the third one is, I do think Jack felt distress on 3/24 from those 5 posts and felt terrible that another searcher had died, even though the why and how the searcher died could be easily dismissed as unwise on the searcher's part, and obviously against what Forrest had asked people not to do. I also believe that Jack was angry that, and he uses the word idiot searchers, that an idiot had not followed Forrest's warnings and put now him and Forrest in jeopardy of both the legal and the perception morass if it would ever come out that the chest was actually found in 2019. So there's no going back. And I believe that this story that was being formulated and concocted now had to have a fine date of post 3/24. That's my personal belief. The fine date now had to be after that date.
Right.
To avoid possible legal entanglement in the court of public opinion on morality. It's also my opinion that now Forrest and Jack are now inextricably caught together in this lie of Jack, of not finding the chest before 3/24. And I also have an opinion that there could be a couple of tells about that. And, now that we've again looked at Jack's 5 posts and then going dark for 13 days, where that gap is, infrequent 5 posts dark for a period, that this went from hiding a chest to hiding the truth and turning a high stakes treasure hunt into a high stakes cover up. And I just put on the line from Tony Montana from Scarface of I always tell the truth even when I lie. I think this is really unfortunate the way that this has turned out, and is my personal opinion. And again, I don't think Jack's a criminal, and you guys know I love Forrest Fenn, but I feel like this obviously turned into something that was bigger than the both of them. My supposition, unnecessary and a gratuitous use of second sentences and words. Back on the 5th of November of 2019, Jack is responding to someone. He makes sure to use a second sentence to what he says about, you're probably right, and I'm sure he personally wouldn't object to you driving around with it. And what he means is, you're probably right, and I'm sure Forrest wouldn't personally object to you driving around with the treasure chest. He adds this sentence, but I've never had something this valuable in my possession before. Jack's a writer. You typically don't end something with a preposition.
I remember reading that and not being able to, because I understood the implications of just that alone. I didn't have the benefit of all this, right? But I remember reading that just that alone and going, wait, that doesn't make sense. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's adding that second sentence. I'll give you another example at the bottom, but then I also highlighted for Forrest, and I don't know if any of this is right? I don't know if any of this is true. I'm just giving you what I put together with my weird brain.
Yeah.
But I really felt for Forrest that if this is how this went down, somebody found his chest and then was playing a game of, I'm going to try to, this is a S show. You didn't think of everything. I'm going to try to get out of paying the taxes, and I'm going to go to Puerto Rico and get residency and do all this stuff. And there was a person who passed away. I will always think of Forrest in the highest regard, but it made me wonder if he was pressured to add what I put in highlights when he said it was under a canopy of stars in the lush forested vegetation of the Rocky Mountains and had not moved from the spot where I hit it more than 10 years ago.
It did seem like a lot of thou doth protest too much on that one. I thought that was because it was like just shoving it down your throat that this was real. To see it never moved. It was always there. No one touched it. I didn't send Shiloh there to put it there in year ago. You know what I mean? Like, but under the context here and stuff that we've talked about, but you know what? I still, just not to interject too much, but I still think I adhere to although Doug Preston has a great retort to it, I adhere to the you don't drain the pool sentiment from Forrest Fenn. But Forrest, usually there's not $2 million sitting at the bottom of the pool. And so I understand, but you know, I still, if I don't consider Forrest responsible, is Jack? I don't know either. Yeah, I see he's more responsible than Forrest is. Forrest is the same game the entire time that people passed away, and that's sad. But if a finder found it, left it there, didn't notify anybody, again, is he liable too? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know where the moral grounds are there.
And the real, you know, it gets down to the stuff that you've discussed for months and months and months and months. And sometimes it's not whether you're going to be legally proven wrong or not. It's the morass. It's the direction your life takes when you're caught up in lawsuits and you're caught up in, your family's caught up in it, and you're worried about their safety, and you're worried about how this affects their lives. And,
right.
You know, so I just, you know, so I made this last statement on, there are dozens of examples how the Condor 2 telegraphs what Jack has done. This is evident to anybody who's read through that database. This is not new information, but you can start on a timeline kind of looking how the Condor 2 is telegraphing everything, not everything, that's hyperbole, but a lot of, whether it's Puerto Rico, you know, on 9/20, and then we know Jack goes and his name's there in January getting status in Puerto Rico. So I believe Jack used this alter ego, the Condor 2, to still be able to play in the community sandbox. Obviously to get information when he was looking for the chest before. I mean, like Ben, like you and I talked about, we got it in it and we were trying to figure out what everybody had and what their solves were. We know supposedly what Jack and his supposed search partner were trying to get information on Diggin' Gypsy and where she was at on the Madison and so on and so forth. But I also think he then used this to ease his anxiety, to keep tabs on what was happening while he was executing his strategy to overcome the S-show tax issues, and even misdirect away from Madison Junction and Madison River after October of 2019. So one last example, just there's a ton of them. You guys can find these as you go through this stuff again, of the second sentence theory. Like, why do you even have to make the second sentence? But it was, I think it would be beneficial to all of us if we could get these issues resolved before he dies. One day, one of us will have to deal with them. So this was
quite a crass statement.
This was right after or coming home from or getting back from the boots on the ground in October. And it's when he was talking about the S show. So I think it would be beneficial to all of us if we could get these issues resolved before he dies. I think it would be beneficial to one person.
Isn't this right around when Fenn was sending an email to Dale about hypothetically ending the chase?
I know that was in December. I'm not sure when that, you know, if that happened before December. You would have better recall on that than I would, or somebody in the chat might. But this to me was when Jack was at that highest confidence point, whether you believe he found it in April, took an item down to Santa Fe, met with Forrest or one of his representatives or not, or saw the trail cams around Forrest property and left, whether you think it was found in August, whether it was retrieved, whether it was found in October, whether it was found previously and put back, the last good week of weather was that first week of October, because I went back and checked the weather patterns, and that next week there was snow on the ground. So it could have been them waiting to go back if they were literally going to go back and stow the chest again where it was located, and then come back right when the park opened on June 5th and 6th of the following year. I still like your dry chest theory, Ben. I thought you did a great job presenting that. So I think there's something to that. But no matter what you believe of any of those things, it's still, to me, this weights heavily on the side of 2019. And it weights heavily on the side of Forrest and Jack going from adversaries to having to be enemy accomplices. They're actually tied in together now. Jack with his before statement. Forrest stating it was found where it was since he hit it. Ben, you know about the scrapbook with Willie's retarded and William and Billy.
Right.
And that coming out on the 24th of, coinciding with Sexton's passing. You think about that as Forrest saying to Jack, okay, this is ridiculous. Now someone's passed away and you're still not coming forward. Jack stating that it was found on June 5th and retrieved on June 6th of 2020. Either he's telling the truth or he's not. My belief is that it was found in 2019, and so therefore that's part of the cover-up. Forrest said he didn't know him, that he was a shy guy. Ben, you and I could say we don't know each other. We've been on YouTube multiple times. We've had a ton of messenger exchanges, but I could still say I don't know you.
Right.
So, you know, everything is relative in Fenn speak.
If you don't know him, how do you know he's a shy guy?
Right. Forrest talking about calling it off in December. So maybe you're right if that's sooner with Dale, but
no, I think it was December. I think it was December.
You know, the whole thing of finding it but not claiming it until the tax S show is taken care of. He obviously had to, in some way, then interact with Forrest or Forrest lawyers or someone. There had to be some type of interaction to see if how Jack would work through the tax implications. Ben, you and Capro got into pretty deep. You know, did he have a search partner? And were the boots on the ground April, August, October? Did they find it, leave it, bury it, move it, remove the blaze? All that stuff. People have covered that. But it falls back into this. Jack boots on the ground and immediately goes to Santa Fe after Paco's arrested. What does he do there? Does he go to show Forrest an actual item? Does he show him pictures? Is he going there because he said Fenn loves attention and we're going to pose as a camera crew to see if we can get more information? Was it to get a nudge? Who knows? But again, to me, all this still says 2019 all over it. I think Jack's confidence after the the Condor 2's confidence after the October boots in the ground, that historical timeline and the way he becomes the gambling man, the way he starts talking about searcher safety when he never did before, all leads me to believe that he knows it's his. He's going to get paid somehow as the finder of the Forrest Fenn treasure chest. Giving Ben all the credit in the world for his amazing. Ben, I don't know if you go back and look at Ben's previous videos, I don't know what it's titled, but there's one where you spend a lot of time just showing pictures of the chest, and I thought that was an amazing show. The unfortunate passing of Michael Wayne Sexton and how it plays into this and brings Forrest and Jack together, unfortunately. Jack is supposedly the only one who gave Forrest the home of Brown. Did Forrest, Shiloh, Matt, or others give Jack the nudge after that? We don't know. Was Jack the face for a search partner who's a family man? Jack doesn't have any kids. So, I mean, we still have all those questions. Is it a find versus a retrieve, or a find and a leave and a then retrieve?
Right.
All that stuff, I don't know. I don't claim to know. The Santa Fe meeting. Was there a meeting in Santa Fe? There was a trip to Santa Fe. Jack already had the Santa Fe tourism video. How annoyed was Forrest at this time? Cameras being disabled. Jack had a post making fun of Forrest of his scrapbooks, but was there a way that Forrest said, I'm going to know if someone out there, there'll be a way that Forrest knows if someone retrieves the chest. So did Forrest have some type of camera up at the find site, and did Jack disable it because he said Forrest can't use his digital camera anymore? Could have been a play on words. Forrest saying nothing is what it seems to K-Pro, and wanting her to come and have a meeting and meet with other selected searchers, and that never happened. But what was Forrest going to tell them? That it wasn't what it seemed. We all kind of want to know that. I would like to know that. And then to everybody's point, this is all I have for today. But if you like what I did and like the way I kind of presented this, I'm more than happy to do another one on the auction website and timelines, and when Forrest dismisses it, and if the times fit in with this histogram. Here's just a little sampling of that, Jack and the Condor 2 versus the auction website. The chest is found sometime April through August 2019, or replaced right before weather returns. The auction website says it was found in August 19. Jack goes to Santa Fe in April 2019. The auction website says that the finders went to Santa Fe after it was found, but left because of trail cams at Forrest's home. Jack's Puerto Rican status application approval in January 2020. The website domain is purchased in February 2020. Jack states that he found the chest June 5th and 6th of 2020. The auction ends on May 15th and actually addresses that.
I have one to add to this right here. Instead of no news about Finder, go ahead, delete that. The same time the website is taken down is the same time the Condor 2 turns to a VPN software.
You say turns to VPN software?
Condor 2 starts using a VPN software. That's literally the same date the website goes down.
So If you guys want a next presentation, let Ben and I know.
I think the auction one needs one, dude. I really do.
And then I know you guys think I'm high. So I just changed, instead of Captain Jack from Billy Joel's lyrics, I said Packer Jack will get you high tonight. So
I love it.
That's it, man. I appreciate your time. This was I told you my brain spins sometimes, and when I have time to do stuff like this, it's fun for me. I hope this didn't upset anybody. I'm not trying to get anybody mad or angry, and I know some of you may disagree with some of this. But again, I thought it was cool to go back and just look at the frequency and some of the behaviors with the post. Because all of this tells me that the June 5th, 6th find is a sham, and that it was actually found in 2019.
I agree. And then something else that just popped up. That same day where Jack turns his VPN on, the auction website goes off, is apparently the same day Forrest tells K-Pro to go hard against the website, which I apparently think is like a rare thing. The only time he's ever done that with her. So, that's a lot of coincidence.
Yeah.
I understand people think the website's a hoax. I thought we've intellectually debunked that, but I guess we haven't. The business idea of that being a hoax is incongruent with making money. Therefore, it was either the stupidest idea ever, which I guess it could be the stupidest idea ever, but it was not the outright hoax. That, guys, the code behind the website, I'm sure you haven't looked into it. I'm sure you just typed, yeah, it's a hoax, but have you looked into the code behind the website? It's funky. It's wacky. It's purposely covered up.
Yeah, so I think this is starting. I mean, this helped me in my own way with closure, and I still, as I said over a month ago, for me, I'm not trying to argue search spots or locations anymore. To me, and I know, like to Adam Foddy, who said the same thing, it's this story about how did this thing really end? How do we get this Game of Thrones ending that none of us like, when we watched for 8 seasons and Game of Thrones was so awesome, and then at the end we were like, WTF? What is going on here?
And Adam, I don't think Packer Jack is saying this, or I am saying this. We're not saying Forrest is people having searched for a year without knowing the chest is out there. In terms of Forrest Fenn's brain, and I'm speaking for him, so tell me if I'm wrong, folks. You, Jack, the finder, whoever, has not taken the chest and gone home with it. The chest is still out there in the spot where it remains. That's part of this story. So as far as Forrest Fenn is concerned, yeah, sure, someone found the chest and they left it there. Okay, then it's still up for grabs. If someone else finds it, it's theirs.
Yeah,
that's probably what Fenn is hoping for, really, so that someone else finds it before this a-hole who left it there. Why do we think Forrest Fenn started up in the scrapbook counts? I mean, there's a lot of narratives we can start connecting dots to this timeline as well. The scrapbook count matching this timeline would be very interesting as well.
Yeah, and Adam, I agree with you as well, too. I have such a high estimation of Forrest, as you well know. And I do think, he wrote Under a Canopy of Stars, and in the same place I put it 10 years ago. Maybe Jack was less than truthful with Forrest on if he picked up the chest and put it back in October or not. Maybe right. Forrest had no idea.
And if Forrest doesn't know, what is he supposed to do?
Right. Yeah.
Nobody believed him when he said the chase is over. Here are pictures. What was he going to do in October of 2019? Sorry, guys, the chase is over. There's somebody who claimed to have found it, but he hasn't taken it home yet. So what do you think is going to happen? Everyone's going to run out of their home in the middle of wintertime and go looking for it because Forrest Fenn just said someone found it, but they haven't taken it yet. He's stuck. He can't do anything. I'm not calling him a liar. I'm saying he's stuck.
Right. Yeah. So again, thanks, Ben. It's great to be with you guys. I got to head home from work, but
yes, appreciate
more than happy to. I'm going to email this to you, K-Pro. I think I see you in chat because again, thanks for letting me use your materials from the August 2nd show. And Ben, your brain was part of that August 2nd show. If somebody's jonesing after this, if you go off or you want to stay on and talk about it, that's great. But you could actually just go back and watch that August 2nd show and see how Ben and K-Pro laid it out as well too. And Ben, I'll get you this PowerPoint somehow if you want me to get it to you or email it to you. Let me know.
For sure. Like I said, I'm also going to try to clip this out and make it its own thing so people don't have to scroll through hours of video like I'm told. They don't like that. That's fine. Whatever.
Yep. All right, man.
Man. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, brother. Take care. All right. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was fun. Had no idea it was coming. I wanted to. I messaged Candy during this presentation, and I said to her, yeah, tell Stephanie to come on. First, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to stay on after Packer Jack is done, but tell Stephanie I'll have her on right after Packer Jack is done. So I don't know if she delivered that message, and then I saw Stephanie say I'm leaving, and I messaged right away and said, hey, trying to keep you on. If someone knows Stephanie or wants to tell her, I'll have her on right now. So I'd love to go back talking DB Cooper. I just thought that was a cool impromptu PowerPoint that Packer Jack made, and I wanted to get that. I wanted to see it as fast as possible. And it's not there to force you to a conclusion, guys. You don't have to agree with it. The concept here is to just, here's some information, take it for what it's worth, but don't outright reject it. And no one's saying outright believe it either. Or at least don't outright believe the opinions made from it. But a common trend I see are people that, on both sides of this, and I'm sure I'm guilty of it as well, but a common trend I see is, they don't agree with the opinion formed from it, and then all of a sudden they've rejected even the information that was provided previous, and all of it just goes away. And it's like, whoa, don't reject the information too. Whoa. You don't have to agree with the opinion, but don't just say no to the info. Is it not obvious we haven't gotten the whole story yet? If you think we've gotten the whole story, that's fine. I'd love to live in that world. It would be great. I consider myself a fairly decently logical human being that likes to fancy the conspiratorial from time to time, but doesn't get stuck in those rabbit holes. I can get right out. It's not quicksand for me. To me, there's something strange going on, and there's something else going on, and there's a bigger story. I'm in that crowd. Yeah. I fear for Entity also. Why do you fear for Justin? He's fine. For all I know, he pulled a great trick on us, and he actually did buy the chest, and he got himself out of the hot zone and the firing squad and all that, and it was a brilliant move. We don't know. I hope Stephanie 30acre heard me. If she doesn't come on today, I'll have her on another time. I'd like to talk DB Cooper with her. Pity. Alan, you want to come on talk DB Cooper? Otherwise, maybe we'll call it. Got to read my phone here for a second. Hold on. At the very least, let's get the music back on, yeah? Stephanie is a no-go tonight. That's a pity. Well, try to get her to reach out, or I'll reach out to her if you want, or whatever. But I would love to have her on at least another time. You want to hop on, dude? Wrap up this DB show? Talk a little bit for like half hour, and we'll call it at like 4 o'clock, maybe, unless we get on a on a roll. People want to hear you talk DB Cooper, man. You're our leader. I'm just a lieutenant or something like that. So was it 2 hours of DB Cooper for Packer? Yeah, it was. And I'm trying to bookend it back with some more DB Cooper. Yeah, Rusty, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna clip out the Packer Jack segment and like make it its own thing. I thought it was a good presentation. That was very nice. Very well done. Lots of effort put into that. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. Alan, I'm just sending you the link just to guilt you into it. There's a little linky poo. If Jack is real, then it is important. I agree. So is the story. Remember, this is the guy who told us, you know, that's not even half the story. I want to know the other half of the story, man. That's not so much to ask. Yay! Alan's coming on in a few minutes. Woo! He doesn't even have the book anymore. I know. Should we just go over the book? Should we? In my younger and more vulnerable years, no, that's Gatsby. What should we look at here? Ooh, did you see this? Have you guys read this? I'm sure you have, but maybe you haven't. Is it blurry? It's probably blurry as hell. It's true. In this book are 7 clues. I want you to find it. There's fun illustrations in here. I found the dude on LinkedIn who did the illustrations. I don't know if y'all heard that from before. Let's see. I'm in the middle of. God, I got past that. I'm kind of like on page 200. I'm almost done with it. I got like 100 pages left. I'll kill that in like a day. There's random bolded words in here. Very strange book, guys. Puff, puff, pass it. Yeah, I'm just killing time till Alan hops on now. What's your favorite conspiracy? I don't like this music. I'm gonna change it up.
Stop.
You can probably barely hear that. Chapter 17 in Hahaha. After a couple of weeks of restlessness and boredom set in, and the money problem weighed heavier and heavier on my mind. The big score had to be enough money to prevent my doing anything I felt like. This would take a bundle. I could live comfortably on $10,000 a year. To get that every year without depleting my capital would take a couple $100,000. In the book, Hahaha, he says he lived on $10,000 a year. Know someone else who said that to us? Furthermore, with time and study, I might be able to build an estate working from that kind of base. After all, I did know how to manage real estate. Acting conservative. Remember, Fenn buys San Lazaro real estate. We're acting conservatively. I could make a small fortune, go a long way, utilizing the legitimate business principles from the past. This is perfect. Banks were ruled out. Their sophisticated warning and alarm systems were beyond my talents. Where have I heard that before? Their sophisticated warning and alarm systems were beyond my talents. I have no electrical nor electronics background. Besides, historical percentages prove that one man can't hope to beat the banks. Armored cars were out. They were too hard to crack. It would take a lot of luck, manpower, and just the right operating conditions to take one. For obvious reasons, I couldn't trust either luck or more manpower. Kidnapping was out. I didn't want to terrorize any innocent individuals. My war was with the establishment, and it was they with whom I wanted to get even for what they'd done to me. I love this book. I don't know what the fuck it is, but I love it. Oop, there's Alan. Perfect timing on the music, too.
What's up, man? What's up, man?
What's up, dude?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right, because my microphone was messed up all day, so I'm glad you can hear me.
No, yeah, you're good, man. You are good. Did you read? You didn't remind me, or did you put that in your presentation of he was living off $10,000 a year? He literally says it.
Nope. I just heard you say that. But what was that last thing you just said a quote about, man? While I was dialing in, you said something. I'm like, wait, I don't remember that part of the book. You just said it. It wasn't the $10,000 thing. Now I don't remember. Oh well.
It was.
And by the way, I kept my clip-on tie on just for this.
Armored cars were out. Kidnapping was
there
out.
There you go. So before that, though, you said something about like electronics. What can you re-say that?
Okay. Banks were ruled out. Semicolon. By the way, this book, the usage of the semicolon is outrageous. Outrageous. It is just like overcooked to put it in words. Banks were ruled out. Their sophisticated warning and alarm systems were beyond my talents. I have no electrical nor electronics background, semicolon. Besides, historical percentages prove that one man can't hope to beat the banks.
That's crazy because when Forrest went to the military. I'm not trying to make this perfect. They labeled him as a communications or like satellite expert. And he said it was the biggest misnomer ever because he didn't understand electronics and computers. And then he crushed the test pilot thing and then became a pilot. But his initial job was radio or communications, and he said it was the biggest misnomer or misplacement ever because he didn't understand that kind of stuff. So it's funny that you just pulled that up and I didn't notice that in the book.
I mean, it's just there's so many words you really do have to read it twice.
Yep, and different people have to read it twice because that's the key there.
We need different points of view, different perspectives on this thing. And look, if we don't figure out that it's Fenn, we're still going to figure it out, whatever the heck is going on.
Yep.
What have you learned lately? Anything new?
No, I've just been listening to you for the past 3.5 hours, and then Packer Jack came on. That's always interesting to me. But when everyone else was going down the Jack rabbit hole, I was going down my own, which wasn't Jack related. But I still want to know how it's all. Not that it needs to tie together, but there's still something we're missing even with Jack. Did Jack put an olive jar? If not, who gets to? Like those are some secrets that I want to know about. Forrest said there was something left in the chest just for the finder. We haven't heard anything about that. That'd be interesting to know.
There's a lot of those quotes that don't seem to have been fulfilled here.
Yeah.
Or at least I guess they maybe have been, but we don't know about it.
Yeah. So I fill my time with the DB Cooper rabbit hole because one is fun. And either way, I want to know who wrote this book, Forrest Fenn or whoever. It's fun.
Do you like the concept that maybe Forrest Fenn wrote Hahaha, but he wasn't DB Cooper?
Totally think that's fair. And I don't know who said that earlier. Mark Toronto. I think he said it, but I've heard that from many people. And I love that too. Like I'm not here to put my foot in the ground or draw, a line in the sand and say 100% Forrest Fenn was DB Cooper. It feels like he had something to do with his book. The way the book was written, the way the book was self-published, how it came out, like secretively, wasn't supposed to be marketed. Forrest always said, my parents are dead. Who's going to buy my book? Like, well, everyone that you talk to. That's who's going to buy a book. So,
and why does Forrest put his DNA in the treasure chest when
why?
If you can't find the treasure chest without following his poem precisely, and no one's going to stumble upon the chest, why do we need your DNA in the chest? We know who you are if we found your chest, Forrest Fenn. Yeah. So if it's 1,000 years, he said to prove or to show whoever did that such an audacious thing. The only audacious thing I know about is not putting a treasure out there when you're a millionaire. The audacious thing is jumping out of a plane with $200K, baby. That's audacious.
That's very audacious. And Rudy Green said something earlier in chat, and Rudy, just so you know, my tone, not arguing with you, like one of the smartest guys ever and like most logical, straightforward. So respect that about you. But when you said, I think I might misquote you here, but if you aren't going to believe Forrest, then you might as well give up. I believe Forrest, but I believe him in a Forrest Fenny way, which is he can say things without lying. He can also lie right to your face. And either way, I still believe him. And that's where I'm like what Packer Jack was saying. This isn't a character attack on Jack. I'm not trying to attack Forrest and say he's a liar, he's a criminal, he's a thief. I'm just saying that the only type of person that could pull off a DB Cooper stunt is not telling the truth to someone in their lives. And Forrest Fenn is known for doing that, just that. Like, do you remember him asking Peggy straight up in one interview? He said, Peggy didn't know I was writing the book for 6 weeks. And there was a handkerchief over my book, and it was 6x6 and whatever. And then the handkerchief was gone, and Peggy didn't even know I hid the chest. And then he said, Peggy, are you going to tell me that's not right? And she said, yes, I am. Do you remember that? Like Peggy said, calling him out right there in an interview and saying, yes, I am going to publicly disagree with everything you just said as being not factual, not accurate. Forrest Fenn is a storyteller. So
I mean,
you don't, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get at is, he's a storyteller. Like, it's okay. He's not lying out of malice.
Yep.
He's lying because he put a treasure hunt game together for 15 years, allegedly. And in that treasure hunting game, he put a true autobiography that no one has ever seen before in the treasure. So if part of the game, you would think then, if there's a secret autobiography, then you would think then you would probably want to listen to him describe his stories because he's keeping something secret from his stories. That's how there's a secret autobiography. If he's told us all the stories, it's not a secret.
You know what? I don't know why. I mean, I have thought about this. So the autobiography has been, well, I guess it still works out. So I'm just trying to think of autobiography versus Thrill of the Chase. He literally said he wrote the Thrill of the Chase in like 6 weeks, and phrases that I've never seen before popped up on my computer screen.
Right.
Anyone that's read the Thrill of the Chase, that's not an autobiography. It's a hodgepodge of whatever, 13 stories, with My War for Me being the one that maybe made the most sense as far as a story. Everything else is like, what? Why? Marble champion and sliding down a railing, and then Toad Cafe caper, and no
These
place
are all
with none of.
fun, these are all fun tidbits.
Yep, it's a treasure hunting book. That's not an autobiography.
Right.
So what's in his autobiography and why?
And Forrest absolutely described it as a secret autobiography. Vertigo. I would suggest go back to the Forrest Fenn, Doug Preston, Shiloh interview for Once Upon a While. He brings up, I think it's at the 28 or 38 minute mark. Actually, I can go to it because Toby has given me permission to go to his channel. Do we want to go to it?
Heck yeah.
He talks about it. Let's figure it out.
While you're doing that, I'll answer K-Pro. So the yearly festivals for DB used to happen in Ariel, Washington, at a very small tavern in a very small city, if you even want to call it a city, it's town probably, with 300 people. Those are no longer happening because the owner of that store, Donna Elliott, died like a couple years ago. And since then, it's been like inspected, and it's not up to inspection. And then her son is now the owner, and so now he can't afford to renovate it to keep it going, just period, let alone to host gigantic parties. However, I think there's like DB Cooper cons now that are trying to take over, but no, those are no longer happening because Donna died, the owner of the store, and now the store is kind of not up to code, I guess.
I'm listening to it right now, trying to find the spot. So just keep talking to chat.
And just because it's up here, since you asked, Capro, do you remember the scrapbook? I don't remember what number it was, but Forrest was talking about in Santa Fe. He went to like a chili cook-off, and he knew exactly which crock pot he wanted, and he discounted the others, and he knew that there was like white pasta in one of them, and that was the best one. Just a little fun fact. So Donna Elliott, the owner of the Ariel store, it was like her claim to fame soup, or I don't think it was a chili, so I'm not going to say it. I think it was like a stew that everyone went there for. So like on that night, DB Cooper night, she would give out her bowls of stew. And I'm trying to find the recipe for that, because if there's white pieces of pasta in that, I'm going to lose my brain again for the millionth time. Unfortunately, it's not happening anymore.
I'm hearing about the Comanches killing chickens right now. Hold on. I know I'm close.
I have this in front of me. Santa Fe Bohemia. Anyone know about this one? Eli Levin, Forrest wrote a scrapbook about it. So Forrest is in this. He has like 3 pages. There's a chapter on him. But this entire, you just look at the cover. Look at the debauchery that's happening in Santa Fe. They call it the art colony between 64 and 1980. And you're telling me that Fenn was not a debaucherous type? He's got his own chapter in this book filled with debauchery. The whole book is debauchery. Just throwing it out there.
All right, hold on.
I encourage all of you to do that. And first of all, you owe it to your kids and your grandkids. But secondly, it's a fun thing to do. I very much enjoyed it. And every time I would tell a story, I would remember another one. And then finally I got a computer. I really didn't want to come into the 19th century. But I finally bought a computer, and I transcribed everything on my yellow pad in that computer. And when I finished my autobiography, I said in my book there were 28,000 words. Actually, there's 32,000 words in that autobiography. And nobody has seen that autobiography. My kids are learning tonight that I wrote that. But when I'm long gone, I hope somebody will. And in the treasure chest, there's a copy of it in my treasure chest.
Oh,
Bingo.
Nobody has seen it. There's a copy in my treasure chest. Yes, it's a fucking secret.
It's not the thrill of the chase. That's
My daughter
obvious.
didn't even know I did it.
Yep. And not that Hahaha is an autobiography either. Like, it's
No.
just a story.
No, it's another treasure hunting book.
Yep.
But just
So
so
his
happens I got lost in the thrill of the chase in it.
Yep. It's crazy to me that Jack did not. I mean, I don't know what I would have done if I found the treasure, but in my mind, I'd always envisioned cracking that olive jar like, immediately in the spot and reading it. Like with a magnifying, I had a magnifying glass in my. Yeah, I brought a magnifying glass with me on every boot to the ground for that reason.
I did too.
It's like not only just to burn bugs, but also to read the autobiography.
It's kind of fun. I would burn holes in leaves. That's what when I would sit down at a spot that all right, it's not here. I'd take the magnifying glass out, burn a couple holes in the leaves. It was fun.
Someone's gonna think that's a blaze. Someone, 2 weeks later. What? There's burnt leaves
that'd
here.
Be funny. That'd be funny if that's how he made the blaze on a tree, like burned it in and like made something out of like a burnt. Ooh, shit, that's a really good blaze.
He burned his entire autobiography into an aspen. Yeah, it's crazy.
Of course they knew at that point, but they didn't know. Guys, he tells stories in different past time frames. They didn't know when he did it. It's in his treasure chest. He says no one's found it. How could people still try to like rewrite this? Hey.
The thrill of the chase is not his autobiography. It's not.
God almighty.
It's a horrible autobiography. It is.
I'm going to replay it. I'm going to re-friggin' play it. And I'm only going to do like 30 seconds this time because my goodness.
And when I finished my autobiography, I said in my book there were 28,000 words. Actually, there's 32,000 words in that autobiography. And nobody has seen that autobiography. My kids are learning tonight that I wrote that.
Okay, well, either way, he said, nobody has seen that autobiography. Y'all were the ones telling me I have to listen to Forrest Fenn. Listen to him. He just said nobody has seen the autobiography, and?
But when I'm long gone, I hope somebody will. And in the treasure chest.
I hope somebody will, and in the treasure chest. You know what that means? He wants someone to find one of those jars.
There's a copy of it in my treasure chest because I wanted. Who says we can't influence the future? I don't subscribe to a lot of those things, and so I had that treasure chest, and I made a number of bells and jars, and in these jars I would put my autobiography.
He always does this. He always does this. He wants people to misconstrue the bells in the jars, saying they're both buried 3 feet deep. It's in the treasure hunting book. The bells are buried 3 feet deep, not the jars.
In there, but those things get wet, they're not waterproof, and so I would put my autobiography in a little olive jar that had a tin lid, and I dipped the tin lid in hot wax so that to make it waterproof. I mean, I tried to think of everything, man.
I tried to think of everything. Secret.
Man,
I can keep my secret where? Yeah, he's gonna keep his. That's the secret is his real autobiography. So how dare we question Lord and Savior Forrest Fenn's stories that he tells us about his past? How dare we? He dared us.
And there's going to be some people that say, no, he meant secret fishing spot. Maybe, but the Madison, if that's the solve, that's not a secret fishing spot, as K-Pro has said many times, and everyone has. I mean, there's just crawling with searchers. Not a secret.
Hold on. But part of my solution, by the way, is you get stuck at 9 Mile Hole. You cross the Madison, you find the tree that says oil in it. That confirms to you the Wizard of Oz solve. You were the Tin Man. That's why he has a tin lid on the jar, because tin rusts. The tin lid is an indicator of part of the solve. You're the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz solve. You find the tree. Jack Stoof, as the Condor, posted the picture OIL on the tree. You find the oil tree. It unsticks you. You're supposed to leave 9 Mile Hole. That's part of your. And you're supposed to go to the true home of Brown, which is Riverside Drive. which is what, I don't know, 0.2 miles away from 9 Mile, something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's around Bend, so it's like 2 miles away. I don't remember, but I understand the 9 Mile hesitancy. I think 9 Mile is part of the solve, not the solve.
Yep.
But either way, the story is the secret.
Yep.
The story is what he wants us to find. So
that's what I was going to say. Yep. So Jack finding the chest, that's like part 1. Jack needs to open the autobiography. That's what he needs to do.
But he won't. What? And I think there's a reason. There's a narrative as to why he wouldn't open the autobiography. If he knew that Fenn was DB Cooper as well, and he kept it to himself because he kept everything paramount to himself, and he confirms it in a hypothetical with Fenn, he doesn't need to open the olive jar. That is the secret. Now, okay, fine, I will preserve it. But why? Maybe Fenn says you can't tell the secret now. I honestly thought this thing would get found in like 100 years and it wouldn't matter. But don't tell the secret because I don't want my estate to get effed with by the government. But I think there's laws I think there's a statute of limitations that have passed, so maybe that's not a big deal. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want the story told while his daughters were still alive. I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I think it also fits the Jack quotes of why he was talking about how he learned the profundity of Fenn's ambivalence towards when the chest was actually found. The true profoundness was he hopes it's found because he wants someone to get rich, but he hopes it's not found too soon because then the true story comes out and Pandora's box is opened.
Yep.
I can't think of a bigger Pandora's box than DB friggin' Cooper.
Why don't you ask Dan Barbarisi what 3 or 4 words he saw through the jar of the olive jar? I know he wants.
He signed an NDA. He's out.
Just tell me the 3 words, and I will look through Hahaha diligently for those 3 words combined.
Oh man!
But I know he doesn't.
I don't think he knows. Yep. I don't think he knows. But listen, the whole point is you're not supposed to know. That's the whole point of a secret.
Yep.
It's a well-kept secret. There's a reason this dude never got caught either. Like, it's not cut and dry. The world's a lot more complicated in shades of gray than you think. I think a lot of people just have this savior mentality of Forrest Fenn, and it's like, guys, the first page in his book, he tells you he's embellishing. My God, what more do we need?
Yep. And raise your hand if you knew Forrest in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, please tell me.
You didn't.
You didn't. You didn't.
You met him in 2009 or 10 at the earliest. That's when you met him. And you may have met him in person. And I guarantee he was the most generous, polite, nice human being you've ever met.
That's exactly what the stewardess described Forrest Fenn or DB Cooper as.
Yep. You go look for negative mentions of Forrest Fenn, and I'm not talking about the chase. You'll find a lot.
Yeah.
There's groups of people that maybe had to do with the graves that he was looting that aren't very happy about any of that.
I know he pissed off the archaeology community in 2001 with that Mother of Indiana Jones article.
Yep.
I mean, if he wasn't on their radar before, he sure as shit was then. But I'm pretty sure he wrote that article because he already was on their radar. So, listen, he had a different idea and mentality of the law. Whereas, you know what? Maybe the law evolves one day, and he wouldn't have been. It's like somebody who got arrested for consuming marijuana in the 60s or 70s, and it was illegal, and you got caught. And whereas, 40 years later, it's no longer illegal. So, the moral grounds have changed on it. Maybe something like that would happen with this whole grave robbing thing. I've changed my stance on it. So things evolve. But one thing I can say about Fenn is he didn't seem like he was a hypocrite or inconsistent in his inconsistencies. There's a pattern to this guy.
Yep.
And if he's planning a treasure hunt for 15 years, don't think for a second he's not planning his character of the treasure hunt for 15 years too. Don't think that may be contributed. And I'm still speaking without knowledge, but don't think for a second that didn't also rub maybe family members the wrong way. If my family's known me as a certain way my whole life, and then I'm Mr. Treasure Hunt Man, and there's a different personality there, like a pro wrestler would change personalities, like that can wane. That can get annoying if that's not the man you're used to. Like things change. He prepared for this hunt for a reason in ways I don't think we still have quite understood. I think we've doubted even, going, how could this ending be what of planning for 50? This isn't congruent with 15 years of planning. What's up, babe?
Still live?
Yeah. Well, I got Alan on now. How can I not be?
Oh, you could kick me out. Ashley, kick me off. Kick Ben off. Kick everyone off.
No, you should join.
No. I have to make dinner. I have to do homework. I have tutoring.
Oh, tutoring.
Laundry.
Oh, boy.
Clean house.
Hey, me too. Let's do it live. We'll do it live.
Yeah.
We'll do it live.
Yeah, Alan, come help me.
We got to do the Oak Island show. Oak Island, it was good. They found gold.
So I have to get all the stuff done before Oak Island.
Yeah, I'm going to help.
Okay.
I got you. Like I said, we're cutting this off in like 15, 20 minutes. Anyway.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to think of any interesting comments or insights I have, but it's like, yeah, I don't know.
It's an ever-flowing kind of conversation, because I think the more eyes that come into this, the more kind of, oh, duh, he said this, and oh, duh, he said that. And like, I don't remember off the top of my head that Forrest Fenn describes the treasure chest as a bomb without a fuse. Like,
I do. He said that a few times. Yeah.
But then, and now I'm making the instant connection, but others aren't either then, right?
Yep.
Others don't know, like, and maybe that's the one quote that makes them go, oh shit, really? And they know that and now they've learned, because they thought DB Cooper was some awful human being who was going to put people in harm's way, and they thought he had a real bomb on board. When they realized he didn't, he had a bomb without a fuse. He had a fake bomb.
He took it with him. That's how fake it was. I mean, he jumped out the plane with it.
Out the door with it. Come on. So, like, then you hear Forrest Fenn go, my chest is a bomb without a fuse. And then you connect the whole concept of this secret story that we've proven is a secret story that no one has ever seen before is in that chest. And it could be the DB Cooper story, the bomb without a fuse story. It all connects.
Actually, the second half of that quote is, Margie Goldsmith. I mean, I might not make it perfect way to say it. I didn't know the treasure chest was a bomb until Margie Goldsmith lit the fuse. Now the book is out there, and it's out there, and there's nothing to do about it. It's for the ages now. Like, he went from treasure chest was a bomb, didn't know how to fuse, got publicity. Now the book is out there, and it's for the ages.
And there's nothing he can do about it if people discover it, and whether it happens when he wanted it to or when he didn't want it to.
Yep.
It's out there. It's out of his hands now.
Yep.
Whatever is going to happen is going to happen.
Yep. It's fun to think about. And my point is not to try to like, I converted another anti-DB. Or it's more of like when someone like K-Pro that has met Fenn many times and interacted with him and has probably a million emails from him. If someone like her is like, interesting, this is possible. That's not credibility, but you see what I'm legitimizing.
No, I see. It goes, okay. If someone who had met him would say it never could be, then you're like, well, maybe, they just met the character that we've all known for the treasure hunt. But if someone who's listened to this dude and has talked to him and asked questions that we don't know about, but like it goes, this is interesting, then I'm interested in that.
Yep. Oh, what did you say earlier? Something about 1 year to the day of the hijacking. That's when Fenn opened the gallery. Is that true?
Opened the gallery. Is that true? I want to verify that too. Did Fenn open the gallery November 24th, 1972? Because if he did, like this, come on.
I heard you say that, and I was driving, so I couldn't fact check it. But that's where some people like message me and say, couldn't have been DB Cooper because I have a newspaper clipping from the same day when he was in Lubbock and doing something. I'm like, send it to me. And then I don't get stuff like that. I never get the evidence that proves he couldn't have been. It's always just people saying, I don't think he could have been, which is totally fine.
Can we take for a second? Can we take for a minute here the narrative that we may have been missing this whole time? Did he say he made the bomb and the airline article was the fuse? Because if that's what he said.
That is Hemisphere Magazine.
Margie Goldsmith. Happens, the guy who says, I don't fight commercial anymore, unveils his treasure hunt as the fuse on an airline?
Hemisphere Magazine.
Yeah, right.
Good call, Huli.
The concept of that narrative there is so important. If you're down the road, if he's DB Cooper, he's setting precedent. He unveiled the treasure hunt to the national audience on an airline where that's your first Omega. And then your other Omega is finding out that he hijacked an airline back in 71. And that's how this whole thing started. Brilliant.
It's fun to think about. And that's where, Ben, I was just telling you earlier, like, it's so fun to find these little connections like who we just made. And it's like a little light goes off every time. Right. But now I've got a Christmas.
One more little thing. Eventually the House of Cards falls and Treasure Wars. And Alec, could you quickly touch on the 305 connection again? Yes. 328, 328, 328. He shoves it in our throats. I went on Google. You could Google it. Fenn had 328 missions in Vietnam. The last page in the actual treasure hunting book is your big score. It's on page 328. Here's the problem with 328. In 1969, he does an interview in which he says, I flew 304 missions in Vietnam. And then I asked to do one more, and it turned out to be more difficult than we thought. My last flight was number 305. And DB Cooper ends up picking and selecting flight 305 to carry out his grudge against the U.S. government and steal money from them. Huh.
Yep. And that's another little one where people would then say, like, how could he possibly have chosen flight 305 to make it happen? Like, I don't know. I don't know. No one knows.
The guy with CIA connections who was an Air Force pilot can't get a hold of some flight manifest logs.
No, he could have easily.
And by the way, it's not like he's flying to a random destination. The flight is to where Skippy lives and works for Boeing, the same plane he took. So that's where we're at. We're still trying to figure it out, but we're close. I think we're closer than ever.
It's fun.
It'd be, and the second we can disprove it, we will.
Yep.
Because I'd much rather disprove it and move on from it than keep thinking it's real and not being able to find the smoking gun. I think the smoking gun's out there. I think the smoking gun is the story in the olive jar inside the treasure chest. If that sucker ever gets opened up and live on YouTube, shared with the whole world, and it's read out, and there's nothing about DB Cooper, we can put this to rest, in my opinion. Because if you are DB Cooper, this was why or if you were hiding the DB Cooper story, this would be why. If you don't put it in that autobiography, it's not in one of those jars, or it's not in the treasure chest, then okay, I'm much more willing to walk away from this whole thing.
Yep. I need some serious disproof to walk away, but I'm open to it. Like if someone would have sent me the newspaper article or a video of Fenn in Lubbock on that same day and time, I would be like, okay, well then I need to figure out something else to research.
Right.
Don't just tell me I don't think it was him because he wouldn't lie, or I don't think it's him because he would never do that to his family. It's the opposite, actually. He did it for his family, in my opinion. That's exactly why he did it.
I know he says 274 guys with the ladder, but again, he says 328 for the total.
And more importantly, as far as that Lubbock 1969 article, I have never once in my life.
Oh, I think I lost. You got
the number 305 come out of Fenn's mouth ever. I've been looking.
300. Why did I survive 328 combat missions?
Can you hear me, or am I gone still?
Now I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Shit. There's something wonky with my microphone. Sorry. What I was saying was what you just said, which is I've been researching 305 for the past year and a half, and never in my life have I ever seen Fenn mention that in any video, article, scrapbook, book until that Lubbock 1969 thing.
Right.
Like never once did he ever say 305.
The 305 for me is one of the biggest things that's led me to go, okay.
Yeah.
There's proof he's the number was significant.
Yep.
He seems the type. He changed the number after the hijacking. So in my opinion, that's clever. You don't want a connection to yourself. So you get on record if you can, especially if he's CIA. Now the number's 328 all of a sudden, and that's the number he goes with. That's interesting.
It's a weird one.
It's a weird one. Hopefully by solving Hahaha and discovering the true location where he landed, Alan and I will find a jar.
Yep.
And then we'll put this bad boy to rest.
And then that's where people will they just will continue to contradict. Like, okay, so 274 or 305 through 28, they'll say it's coincidence. I just keep going back to the damn book. Like the Thrill of the Chase is on page 110. Thrills and Chases is on page 34. Tenacity was his main shortcoming, page 73. I could keep going. Like, you can't just keep saying, hey, coincidence. Like, you can't just keep saying it over and over again, and that's your argument. Like, you need a better argument.
58 coincidences here.
Yep.
And yeah, Sherry, 328 somehow is significant. It just so happens the treasure hunting book ends at page 328 as well. Maybe he chose 328 because he wrote Hahaha, and he's giving a sign to go to Hahaha. Again, that's the theory here. That Hahaha is connected to the Thrill of the Chase.
Yep. The other thing I'll say that I said to you, Ben, earlier is that sometimes some of this stuff seems so far-fetched that no normal man could ever come up with it. Forrest Fenn, as everyone knows, was not a normal man. He wasn't just a combat pilot, and then that's it. He wasn't as dumb as he pretends to let on because he graduated and went to college and was in like physics honors. I know there's like class photos of him. He was also the best at everything he ever tried. Like, he knows pottery sherds, and he's like an encyclopedia. When he wants to study something, he knows everything about it. He needs to jump out of an airplane, he memorizes the bailout procedure. He needs to know anything, he's the best. He's a perfectionist. You look at his study, the amount of books in there, and you could probably say what's on, you wouldn't have all the pages memorized, but he knew the maker of every book, the published date, how it was bound, like where the materials and the ink came from. Like, to think that Forrest Fenn couldn't do it because it's too elaborate, that is not even in my filter. He was a genius.
We were on two different treasure hunts then.
Yep.
And not important saying 305 is all over the book. And I'm assuming 305, now he's not saying 305 missions or anything, just the number 305 appears everywhere in the book is what you're saying? That would be interesting.
Which book?
TTOCC. What?
Can you
give me an example?
Besides page 305, if there is one?
No, I don't believe there is.
I mean, I have Thrill of the Chase in PDF and text format. I could easily search it.
Yeah, just search it. Or the numbers like in images and, you know what I mean, like something like that. How tall was Forrest Fenn?
6 foot. At least when he was 80. So he's probably 6'1", something.
And again,
no matches, 305.
All of the sketches and descriptions are anywhere from 5'10" to 6'3". So
yeah. I am not seeing a 305 just in my quick search. So
he's saying it's in the images.
Oh, okay. That's a whole different ballgame. And if that's true, I totally want to see that. And that's where...
Which image? Give me an image to look at. Give me the most obvious 305 to look at. God, if you can show me an obvious 305, I'll flip. And then I'll get mad at myself, but then I'll flip. Descriptions of flight staff all said 5'10". Adam, what? I looked at the FBI file on that. That's not true.
And also, everyone's 5'10" in an airplane because you can't really stand up any taller. I'm 5'8", so I'm 5'9".
I don't know the difference between 5'10" and 6 foot.
I don't either.
Especially when I'm a 5'1" stewardess looking up.
Yeah, and he's sitting down. But anyways.
Well, he stood up at one point, but
he did. Well, he had to stand up to jump out of the damn plane.
Right.
Man, what I would give to see like the cabin video tape recording of that whole man, could you imagine like just watching DB Cooper like putting on his parachute and just like jumping out of the back of a plane while everyone's just locked up in the cockpit? Like, man, that would be so cool.
On your show, not on your show later, I'll get my book out. You need the right lens to see it? What? I think we're getting messed with.
I could see. I mean, I'm a pareidolia guy, so I like looking for stuff like that. Like, for example, on No Place for the Biddies, I think it says Blaze on that guy's little head. Not everyone thinks it says that, but
Right.
I put that lens on. I like that lens. Like in the bookshelf on Learning Curve, some people say it says, I think Blaze in there too, or Clue. I don't remember what. I think Blaze.
Adam, Fenn would have been 41.
That is accurate. And DB Cooper was in his 40s.
And the FBI had suspects as young as 28.
Actually, Richard McCoy, I thought, was a pretty young suspect. But he was a copycat guy, so that's why he went to the top of the rankings. So he literally did the same thing DB Cooper did after DB Cooper, but was caught. But he safely parachuted out of a plane using the aft staircase. But in my mind, he's way too young, and he doesn't fit the description. But it just proves that people can do it. That's for sure.
Okay.
I jumped out of a plane once.
Hey, Adam, I'm just for you. The wiki page is not good, so I'm gonna show you this. Okay, this is from, actual source material here. Okay, described as a white male, 6'1", mid-40s is anything, man. Conventional cut. Black hair again. He dyed his hair black in The Thrill of the Chase. He said he changed his eye color in The Thrill of the Chase. In Hahaha, somehow changed his eye color, even though the brown eyes description changes. There's a blue eyes description as well, and then there's different sketches of him in these different files. I wonder if no, it's not gonna be in this one. Hold on. I think it was something like one of these. White male, 5'9" to 5'10", 150 to 160 pounds, approximately 40 years of age. This is, it varies. This is why wiki isn't trustworthy, because whoever edited that wiki just took one of the descriptions and put it down as fact. There's plenty of descriptions of this DB Cooper man. They're not all consistent.
Yep. I will definitely say it's impossible to measure the difference between 2 inches of someone, like whether he's 5'10" or 6'2". That's 4 inches, but no one knows that.
It does say canopy right there. That's nice. I like that. I mean, if that's a reference back to the book.
He's got a fake ID in the front of his book, and why does he even put that in there? Like, got a fake ID.
Where? Oh.
I mean, it's the superimposed photo that doesn't even make sense, and he's too young and
age 17, but like it's a picture of him when he's like 3.
Yep.
Yeah, I never understood that.
But no one does.
And it says his height is 6 foot, by the way. I don't think he grew much more than that.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I mean, he gives us his height description right there, 6 foot. Like, it helps us out.
What color does it say his eyes are? I hope it
Blue.
says brown. I was hoping it said brown, even though I know they're blue.
Yeah, no, just blue. Hair brown, eyes blue.
But see, why does he have to put that in there? What's the point?
What's the point of that? If I really wanted to search, like I've seen it enough. Like there's plenty of where they take blue eyes into consideration. Yep. They seem to be financially independent, which they changed that. Well, the financially independent could be his pension. Military experience is unknown. This one lists him as 5'10", 40 to 45.
Wait, how do they list financially independent? Because he has 200K?
Right.
Like what? He paid with a $20 bill? Like, I don't.
I think this is just kind of different suspects. They kind of were ruling out.
Oh, okay.
How do you think he washed the marked bills? Well, luckily enough, the Hahaha book explains this. What he did was he knew they were all the serial numbers would be cataloged. He immediately goes to Las Vegas. He washes the money very fucking quickly, within hours, and then buys silver, sends the rest of the money off into Canadian banks.
Yep. So the counter argument to that, what would be, okay, that's good to quickly wash them, but at some point those bills would have ended up in circulation and one of them would have popped up by now. That's a counter
I
argument.
agree with that. I agree
So-
with that counter argument. I agree.
Yep.
With, unless the FBI just goes, we're never mentioning that because
So-
shit.
So my
Just makes it look foolish.
Forrest Fenn argument. So I love that the storytelling in Hahaha, and I think that's really fun to think about. That he immediately just went and started gambling it away and cashing in for chips and all that. But in Forrest Fenn's real life, he was already interacting with Russia for sure. He was talking about consigning very expensive paintings from whatever her name is, Madame Pedrova. One transaction in Russia, and that money's laundered. One. Just one big transaction. And you're telling me that Forrest couldn't have done that? He definitely could have, because during that same exact time frame, he was interacting with Russia and moving art around from like there to his gallery. So I'm just saying, even though the Hahaha story tells how he did it, it's possible it was done, in a variety of different ways. And I just feel like it had to be done in another country for the reasons I just said, which is at some point I feel like a bill would have popped up. Like even now, like a bill, if it pops up, that serial number will get scanned.
Look at this. Blank stated he realized he should have come in earlier and advised his office that the man named Blank has a look-alike appearance of DB Cooper and seems to have plenty of money. He blank 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 is located from blank 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 and blank named blank Oregon.
This is like Mad Libs. I used to do Mad Libs like this.
Right. God, this is just so much crap to scroll through.
Yep.
Anywho, anything else?
I got nothing. Thank you all for participating. It's fun. I'm excited that you guys, some of you are excited, and I'm excited to hear even the naysayers, because show me the money too. Like, show me the disproof. Show me anything.
I would like anything that proves it couldn't have happened from Forrest Fenn.
Yep.
Each time we look for it, it seems like it's just one more thing that shows it could be.
Exactly.
Some say the fact that 0 of the notes have been found leads to the theory that he didn't survive the jump.
Then you find all the bills on the ground.
Somebody will eventually find that.
Yep.
But
wait. Okay, no. Then it goes back to the money found in Tina Bar upstream. Basically proves that the money was planted after the jump.
Well,
So-
yeah, that does. That proves it couldn't have been. He couldn't have died. Right,
Yeah.
because the money was planted upstream.
Upstream.
How many years later? 40 miles upstream. How many
80.
years later?
9 years later.
9 years later. So, sorry, somebody had access to those bills and planted them somewhere.
Yep.
That doesn't sound like someone who found them. Oh, yeah, I found the DB Cooper money. Let me go plant that 40 miles upstream for no reason whatsoever and get rid of some of that loot. That makes no
And then
sense.
burn the rest and never spend it.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then burn the rest. No. So whoever was DB Cooper planted that money 9 years later. 100%.
Which is perfectly described in the Hahaha book.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I got nothing. So if you need to go, I'd be happy to mosey on my way and get some stuff done around the home.
Yeah, I think this is good. I got to do the Oak Island show later anyway, so this has
Yep.
been good. Almost 4 hours. I say we crushed it. Unless anybody's last second questions they want to get in, because we got the expert on. But what's the vig on money laundering? If you have a deal to do in Russia, or you just wash it in a casino, I don't know.
Yeah.
10, maybe 20. Remember, Forrest said he made $180,000 in his garage, so maybe the cost of doing business was 20 grand. Could be. I don't know. But he made 180 grand the same time DB Cooper did. I know that because Forrest Fenn says so. Working out of his garage. The equivalent of $1.5 million. Okay. Whatever. If you say so, from the guy who says he embellishes in his treasure hunting book with his secret autobiography and his secret treasure chest. All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right, take care, Ben. Thanks.
See ya.
Bye. All.